I'm Lisa Brady. Fox News. Former FBI Chief James Comey scheduled to testify Thursday to the Senate Intelligence Committee. President Trump, who decided this week not to use executive privilege to block that testimony, saying this a short time ago.
I wish him luck. Thank you, everybody.
Wishing luck to the man he fired and who is believed to have written a memo suggesting the president pressured him to drop an investigation of fired National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's Russia contacts. It's not clear yet just how much Comey will discuss publicly after recently talking to the special counsel on the Russia probe.
So the things to be watching for Thursday really are what he does not answer and cites the special counsel, whether that is his conversations with the president or whether it's elements of the ongoing Russia counterintelligence investigation.
Fox's Catherine Herridge. Bill Cosby's accuser takes the stand at his only criminal trial for sexual assault. Fox's Gernal Scott is live at the courthouse in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Lisa, Andrea Constant is finally telling her story, one she's kept private up until now. She says she felt paralyzed and helpless after Cosby allegedly drugged and molested her at his suburban Philadelphia home. Cosby has maintained throughout depositions and pretrial hearings that the relationship was consensual. He put his hand to his forehead as Constant told her story in court. As has been the case, Cosby's defense is saying the recollection and detail from 2004 to now is flawed. Add to that lack of physical evidence, and they say a jury of 12 can't convict on her story alone.
Gernal, thanks. On Wall Street, stocks finished lower for a second day. The Dow down 45 points at the closing bell. Fox News, fair and balanced.
When smart businesses need to grow their team, they do it on the site proven to deliver, Indeed.com. According to an independent study, Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, more hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Yo, everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group. Just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost the sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Yo!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Congressional leaders holding meetings with the president and vice president, still trying to reach consensus on health care reform.
Senate Republicans are offering a variety of assessments when pressed on the likelihood a plan to repeal and replace the Affordable Care Act can win 51 votes. Following a conference-wide lunch meeting with Vice President Pence, GOP leader Mitch McConnell insisted.
And we're getting closer to having a proposal that we'll be bringing up in the near future.
It's been more than a month since House Republicans narrowly passed the American Health Care Act, but from that point, Republican senators have suggested what emerges in their chamber is likely to look different. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The attorney for a professional violinist says a lawsuit against United Airlines is likely after a scuffle over an airline supervisor refusing to let her board a flight with her instrument. Jennifer Correa booked her ticket with a discount fare that doesn't allow storage in the overhead bin, but her attorney says her violin is believed to be centuries old, worth thousands of dollars. They're also claiming the confrontation left her concerned about a possible hand injury. GM shareholders steer clear of a stock split.
GM CEO Mary Barra says the company will stay on its current course, saying a proposed stock split pitched by one of its shareholders would pit one class of investor against the other.
We thought it provided several elements of risk and that was not in the best interest of our shareholders.
Barra, in the company's annual meeting, says GM's strategy of cutting costs, shedding underperforming businesses, and trying to lead in new tech is what she says will deliver long-term results. Barra also says the company is prepared to handle an automotive downturn as U.S. auto sales are down 2% so far this year. GM also ended last month with a longer than average supply of cars and trucks.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. Shareholders at the annual meeting today also re-electing all 11 GM board members. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
It's back.
Can one of our 5 interns
get the sheets.
We got one guy's running laps. I told him to go run laps around Meyer and let me know how it goes.
I had to give him a list of duties today.
You did?
Yeah, because I'm like, all right, if we're going to have this many interns.
They got to do something.
Might as well put them to work.
I agree. I totally agree. 100%.
Can I get my mic on?
There you go.
I had to get rid of the other microphone. Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight clear, low of 54. Wednesday sunny, high 76, low of 53. Warmer on Thursday, high 80, a low of 58. Nice. Right now, beautiful, sunny, 79 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
It's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. I started off by saying he's back. I want you to not slowly, I don't care how you do it, check the end of my nose.
Ah.
Yeah.
Little buddy there.
It's been a while.
Yeah, like when we first started the show, you constantly had
a pimple.
A little zit on the edge of your nose.
He's back. He is back. And I popped that thing this morning, and I felt like a 16-year-old kid again. I was like, yeah, look at that come out.
There's only like 3 spots. I still get them. Like above my eye, on my cheek.
Yes.
And that's about it.
Can you still recall your last zit that was right on your lip?
Right on my lip?
Did you ever have any that were right around the lip? They're the most painful thing you can ever have in
when
your
I
life.
was 15, 16 years old playing football and just sweating on your oily face all day, you had them everywhere, man.
You did.
Everywhere.
And I never had them. I never had them in high school. I never had pimples in high school.
You were skinny.
Right.
You didn't get pimples. I don't think you took advantage of that enough.
I don't think I did. See, because I think most people get it done. Like, they get it done in those 3 or 4 years. I just slowly have worked mine out throughout life. So about once every 3 months, I get a zit on the end of my nose. And here it is. He's back. So
there you go.
Should be a good show. He's here to help me.
Well, we have a short show again today. We're off a little early for Cardinals at the Reds, and the Cardinals sorely need a win.
My goodness.
And they put Adam Wainwright on the hill against Tim Edelman. We'll be off at about 5:15 for Cardinals pregame.
Can I stop you there?
Yeah?
This Cardinals team truly thinks of a different way to lose every night.
They're a bad team right now.
They're a bad team.
Fundamentally bad baseball.
Yes.
I think the roster is better than this.
I agree with you there.
And I don't think it's an elite roster.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about this over and over again. They need to add to that roster, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in this show. But I'm looking at the manager. This is fundamentally bad baseball. And when the White Sox kept making the same mistakes over and over again,
right,
even though the roster was limited,
right,
you got to look at the manager,
yep,
and how they do things. And I think Mike Matheny deserves all the criticism he receives.
There's a few things you can do if I don't care what level you're in when you're playing baseball. And I'm going to get to a point here. A lot of times you would watch the outfielders warm up, and you'd watch them throw the ball in, and you'd get a sense for who's got a great gun in the outfield. Hey, right fielder's got a gun. Don't run on him. Center fielder, left fielder. Then you'd watch the catcher throw down right between innings. You're like, we're not running today. Or that kid barely got it to second. There are little things you have to pay attention to. Chris Maloney, at third base coach, should be paying attention to who's fast and who's not. Twice now he's gotten DeYoung thrown out at home. And last night, not only did he misplay the fact that the ball was already in the left fielder's hand when DeYoung was hitting third base, so he was going to get gunned anyway. But not only that, you misplayed the situation. If he stops DeYoung at third, you now have the bases loaded with 1 out for your number 3 and best hitter, Matt Carpenter. Yes, he's not hitting he's not your best hitter now.
Night, but yes.
Oh, that's true. He was hitting 2. But whatever the case, you've got then the bases loaded with 1 out for Matt Carpenter, who proceeds to hit a fly ball to right field that would have made it 3-0.
Yes.
So instead, what you do is you run yourself essentially out of an inning at home, and I've seen Chris Maloney do this twice now since DeYoung has been up. I know he was a AAA guy, but you have to know, and whether that's Maloney's job.
That's what he's teaching
exactly.
Down there, right?
That's exactly
and they've been
right.
really good at that kind of stuff.
They have. So it's just, and again, that's just another area that's just frustrating when everything else is working wrong. Now all of a sudden we have a third base coach getting guys thrown out at home by 10
This
feet.
team is underachieving based on its
Big
talent, and I don't think this is a ridiculously talented team, but they should be better than 3 games under 500 now.
Yes.
Losing 4 in a row, and look at the Cubs.
Yep.
They've won 4 in a row.
Here they come.
And they're in first place. Are they ever going to trail again?
No. No.
I guess they could later this week. But
in this woeful division, no.
Yeah. Cardinals
No,
one game out of last place.
Yeah, and 3 games below 500. The last time this late in the season, I tweeted this out last night, and I credit Fox Sports Midwest. I heard that on there. I don't do these things. I don't ever do any kind of research. You know that. But the last time the Cardinals were this far below 500 this late in a season, which isn't that late, right?
This is actually a very positive stat for you guys.
Totally.
Yeah.
So June 5th, the latest they were.
Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
2007.
It was 7. It was 2007 is the last time.
It's been a decade since you guys were 3 games under 500 in June.
Yes, and we are. The sky is falling.
Oh my!
The sky is falling in St. Louis.
I get it. I am all for Matheny getting replaced. I think they need to make a move because. Yeah, Tavares, we've talked about this.
Right.
It just left a huge hole in this system, and they need to fill that. And they got to be competitive in the next couple of years because they have the roster to do it.
Absolutely.
But it's ridiculous what they've done.
I know.
Over the last decade.
I know.
Whenever a Cardinals fan complains, it just makes me want to go.
Yeah, you just shut up.
Just
right?
shut up.
Well, and maybe Cardinals fan. Maybe
I get it because they're sitting there going, well, we shouldn't change our expectations. I get it.
Right.
But I hope in the meantime, the last decade
you at least,
and a half,
yes,
you've appreciated what you had.
And the Cardinals in the 80s, I started thinking of this morning when I woke up, and I started thinking, all right, I should probably research this too. And then I thought, no, I don't want to do that. Maybe one of the interns can do this.
We got 5 of them.
We do have 5 interns that we could do some. But
in the 2 of you form a research team.
Let's do it. I like this. You guys pick 2. So in the 80s was 82, 85, 87. The Cardinals went to the World Series 3 times. Should have won 2, but they won 1 due to Don Dinkinger. But the 80s belonged to the Illini, yes, and they belonged to the Cardinals. And then in the 90s, we all remember, it was terrible. There were some stretches in the 90s.
Where you only won 75 games.
There were some bad years.
You had the Royce Clayton, Ozzie Smith thing.
Right? So
got
maybe
ugly. Ray Langford was your best player for a while.
And I'm yelling at him from the...
Then you just had steroid dudes.
Ron Gant.
Entertaining the heck out of you.
Oh, man, it was great baseball. But it was one of those where I remember that. I remember the 90s that weren't fun. And maybe Cardinal fans now are sensing, we're slipping into the 90s.
Well, you're due.
Right.
But I think your front office will keep
I think we're fine. All right, I'm done with the Cardinals.
Okay. I didn't expect to go on a Cardinals
Chris Maloney, by the way, will join us at 3:40. No, I'm kidding.
We will talk with Central baseball coach John Staub as Central advances to state. What a team this has been, because even they'll admit the talent level isn't ridiculous there. And Lon, you coached a lot of these kids when they were young.
I was very lucky to do that, but I'm not kidding you, Jeremy.
Obviously, it stuck with them.
Oh, absolutely.
Or it didn't.
Yeah,
either way.
You'd think a few of them would send me a card saying, thanks, Coach Tay, for this appearance at State. I kid. But no, these are great kids. But the last 2 years, Central's baseball team has been loaded. And really probably, and I want to ask Coach Staub this, did they have a better shot at making state than this year's team? But they do have a lot of talent on this team with Robinson and Beasley and Hartleb. Zach Hartleb hit a home run last night. So they've got a lot, and I'm excited for them. They're going to state. Who knows how they'll do? They're playing a team that just won 10-0.
That's a great stadium, by the way, in Joliet. That's right around where my mom works. And,
sweet.
Grew up in that area in Will County, and that is a phenomenal stadium.
That's awesome. I may try to go Saturday because they'll play Friday, right? And then turn around and play Saturday. I might try to get up there and watch those guys on Saturday. But I'm excited. We're going to talk to John, and we'll see what he feels like going into state.
We'll also talk with Ryan McGlade from BuckeyeSports.com at 3:30. We'll get the reaction in Columbus about Thad Matta getting fired. We can use that term. He got fired yesterday by Ohio State after a great run, but it was going downhill. We'll go through some of the candidates with Ryan, who he thinks Ohio State has a realistic shot at. But some notes for Illini today. Illinois basketball, according to John Rothstein of FanRagSports.com, will start a multi-year series with UNLV.
I like it.
And it starts this year. They'll play in Vegas on December 9th this year. I'm guessing that'll be Thomas Mack Center, which is right next to the airport. So they'll do that December 9th, and then they'll come to Champaign. So home and home to start. I don't know if there'll be more after that, if they're going to do a United Center game or whatever it is. They have obviously did one in 2011, but they will come to Champaign. So at least, I don't know if UNLV is as glitzy as it once was. Illinois and UNLV both haven't made the tournament since 2013.
Right.
But it's a little bit better than who we've been playing around here recently.
Well, here was my thought. When I first saw this, I thought, oh, okay. And then I was thinking United Center game.
Yeah, and I was like,
yeah. I mean, UNLV, that's fine, but United Center. Then I'm like, well, wait a minute.
It's a step up from New Mexico State, I guess.
Right. But then I saw it and I said, well, wait, no, they're playing this at the State Farm Center. I'm like, to me,
that's a lot cooler.
It does. I know UNLV isn't North Carolina. It's not whatever, but this is a home with a team, with a Power 5 and a team that at least has some history.
Yeah.
And both teams are trying to kind of get traction now as they move forward. But I like it. I like the fact. Now, if this was a United Center game, I'd probably be in the But with it being here and you get a chance to see UNLV, I think this is a program that'll be a little bit on the rise. So I like it.
UNLV went 11-21 last year, 4-14 in the Mountain West. That was the first year under head coach Marvin Menzies, who came from New Mexico State, I believe. And UNLV signed 5-star prospect Brandon McCoy. So you get a little bit of star power here, maybe a kid who could get drafted pretty high.
Okay.
Also, Amari Hardy was a commit to Brad Underwood when he was at Oklahoma State last year. So a little bit of intrigue there. So right now, the opponents we know or that are reported right now for next year's non-conference are DePaul, Missouri, UNLV, New Mexico State, and of course there'll be a Big Ten ACC Challenge game in there too.
You know, I mean, without sitting there and analyzing records,
there's some storylines there.
Exactly.
I mean, you got the Lou Henson game with New Mexico State.
Exactly.
Now, I don't think the game will be much, but New Mexico State was good last year. UNLV, that's a program with a name. Missouri and DePaul. I mean, the storylines are phenomenal for those two games.
I like this,
especially if Coleman Lands ends up at DePaul.
And hopefully those are 4 games you win. For a program, and hopefully you do that if you're Illinois. But Missouri's gotten a lot better. DePaul's gotten a lot better. I assume not a lot better, but they're better. And now that Bowen's not going there, which is a little bit of a break for Illinois, I guess, playing them. But
Brian Bowen going to Louisville.
Yeah, they're going to Louisville, and then of course with the other two. I mean, there are some storylines definitely in this non-conference so far.
Speaking of, we don't know the complete Illinois roster yet. Right now, they still have just 9 players on their roster. But Derek Piper reported today that Greg Eboigboden,
nice,
the big man out of Detroit, we have him as a 2-star prospect. 6'9", about 220, 230 pounds, will make his decision shortly. Former UIC commit and signee that Chin Coleman recruited there. Purdue has been involved here recently, and Pittsburgh has been involved here recently. So it seems like high majors are getting into this thing, but he visited Illinois last week, and I like where they stand here with him. So it'd be nice if you can get that kid in, and maybe he can play 10 minutes, 12 minutes a game next year. Give you some defense, give you some rebounding.
He may have to, right?
He may have to play long term, he's a good fit for what they want as a big man, which is athletic, rebounds, gets up and down the court. He's not going to be a big-time offensive player.
Sure.
But if you can imagine a Nana Egu kind of role, I mean, you'd love that kind of player on this roster right now. I don't know if he'll be nearly as good as Nana.
Right.
But that kind of mold of player, I think that'd be a nice addition for Illinois. I don't know how big it'll be for next year.
Right.
You'd love to have a grad transfer there, but Eboigboden would be a nice fit.
Today, I was reading on Derek Piper's article on IlliniInquirer.com.
Nice.
That was a pretty good read. Yeah. And I watched the highlights. They've got a highlight reel tape, and his first highlight is impressive. And you looked at me, you're like, that's why they call it a highlight reel. Like, they're not going to have him double dribbling at center court.
I talked to who was it? Illinois director of player personnel, and he was saying, I was like, what can you actually take from a highlight tape?
Exactly.
He goes, nothing.
Right.
I go, so you don't even watch that and say, okay, I need to watch more. He goes, no.
Nope.
I need 3 games of full film to know what a player is.
Yeah, because I want to see how they fail and how they react when they fail. When they don't make a 17-foot jump shot or they don't dunk. It's one of those.
But some 6'2" kid.
Exactly. So Chin Coleman got this guy to UIC, essentially. Yeah. And that's why I'm confident Illinois is going to get this done. Now, will they block Illinois from the... Can you imagine? They're like, you know what? You can go anywhere you want except the University of Illinois.
Which they are. They are the University of Illinois.
I thought of that today, though, and I'm like, that would be fantastic.
Can you block them from the same school, different campus?
I don't know.
I'm sure they could. I'm sure, though, that Josh Whitman would give them a call and be like...
Let's don't go there. You're right. Right.
Like, hey, talk to the board of trustees over there, right?
I did think of that, though, today. I'm like, uh-oh. What if he blocks? What if Illinois is blocked?
I don't think
I
that
doubt
should
it. But
happen.
I do feel good about it. And I'd be fine with him coming. I know he's not going to change the world this year, but
it's a nice piece.
It would be a nice piece. And for right now, I think it'd be a perfect spot for this kid.
Also, another schedule update, Illinois football. Big Ten Network announced 2 game times, and they're the first 2 of the year. The season opener against Ball State. Kickoff time.
Let me guess, 11 a.m.
Yes.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, you like that.
As a media member, get home, watch some of the big games.
Of course, it's the first one, so people will be itching to get out there at 7 a.m.
Yes.
So tailgate will be good. The weather will be good after the game. Yeah, hopefully. And there won't be another onslaught of a hurricane we had the one year, but that was the
hopefully
Beckman
you'll win.
hurricane. Yeah, hopefully you'll win. Everybody's feeling good for at least one Saturday.
And then Western Kentucky the next Saturday, 7 o'clock kickoff. Obviously, Jeff Brom no longer there at Western Kentucky, but that's a pretty good team coming into Champaign for a 7 o'clock kickoff. So that'll be the start of 3 straight primetime kickoffs for Illinois.
Wow.
Because in the next week, they play Friday.
That's right.
At Tampa against South Florida.
That's right.
So a Friday night game there. 2 weeks later, they play against Nebraska here in the Big Ten opener Friday night at
Holy
7
cow.
o'clock. So 2 Friday night games in a row. We've talked about that. A lot of people not fans of that, especially the high school football coaches and people with high school kids, and I understand that.
Totally.
But Illinois looking to get a little bit, and the Big Ten, we're going to get a little bit more exposure. But the Western Kentucky 7 p.m. kickoff on a Saturday.
That's awesome.
It's not too bad.
Oh, that's another one that you love as a tailgater.
If you win.
Right. Maybe you forget if you lose. Maybe if you lose, maybe you've partied all day and you've forgotten even lost. No, I love those night kickoffs, and the 11 a.m.s are fun when it's nice out because you can get into the game, you can get some sun, and then you still have time. And those 7 o'clock games, it's fun. You get there early, go around, see everybody, and then get rolling. But it is weird to see 2 Friday night games back to back. It'll be for these kids, they'll feel like they're in high school again.
I had to look up the head coach of Western Kentucky. It's Mike Sanford Jr.
Okay.
He was the Notre Dame offensive coordinator. They weren't very good last year. And then he was Boise State the year before that.
So you think 2-0 off the gates? 2-0 out of the gates?
They better be. I mean, South Florida's going to be good.
Oh, they're going to be really good.
I think Charlie Strong's a good coach.
Yeah. Are we doing our show from Tampa?
We can.
I'm fine with that.
I'll be down there.
Yes.
I mean, but the game starts at 6.
Oh, that's right.
Just let Carp do it.
Carp and I can handle. Is he going down to Florida?
No, just have Carp do it back here.
I mean, I got a place we could all stay. I think we do it. You can leave at 5 or whatever. Well, you'd have to leave before 5, wouldn't you? Maybe we'll just do our show down there all week. Can we get that sponsored? Can we just get a show from Tampa sponsored?
Taste Tavern sponsor us?
Let's do it. I'll make some calls.
The double T's, as you like to call it.
With the wiffle ball stadium in right field.
Right.
That'd be awesome.
What's the wiffle ball stadium?
No, not in right
modeled
field.
After?
It was it Fenway? I think it was modeled after Fenway.
Because there is a small wiffle ball stadium modeled after Fenway. I think you should be more original than that.
We'll have to do something different then.
Like, is there one in Villa Grove that you love?
No. Although they are getting a wiffle ball league going. Oh, I need to talk to you about that sometime. I want you to be on the team.
That sounds like a segment.
Oh, yes, it does. But no, but inside the bar, I want an actual wiffle ball stadium. I think that'd be cool.
Oh, inside the bar?
Inside the bar.
Why wouldn't it be outside if you're on the beach?
Part of it would be inside the bar. Like home plate, let's say, would be inside the bar, and you'd be hitting out towards the beach.
I kind of like it.
I like this idea. Maybe we'll come up with people.
You have like bars right outside where the dugout is.
Yeah. So
or you just have the team sitting there at the bars drinking while you're playing wiffle ball.
I think this would be fantastic.
Now, when you play wiffle ball, do you have to have a beer in your hand?
No. Okay. I want it to be competitive wiffle ball.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I want it to be
drunk wiffle ball.
It's not drunk wiffle ball. It's not moderate pitch wiffle. It's fast pitch wiffle ball.
This isn't frat.
No. I want him to. Of course, maybe after 8:00 at night, it turns into drunk wiffle ball.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk with Ryan McGlade, BuckeyeSports.com. Later on in this hour, we'll talk about the trouble at Michigan State as well.
Yeah, what's going on?
3 football players dismissed for sexual assault charges.
Yeah.
That's been hanging over that program for a while now. And Graham Couch, our buddy from the Lansing State Journal, is going to join us tomorrow to talk about it.
Cool.
But he had a really good line that I think Illinois fans should always have in their mind as Lovie Smith tries to build this thing up. We'll talk about a name that Ken Rosenthal throwing out there for the Cardinals to possibly go after.
You trumped him on that, by the way.
Well, I did throw it out there yesterday.
Yes, you trumped Rosenthal on this. You threw it out 2 weeks ago.
I think I did.
You did. I remember you doing it.
He makes sense. We'll also talk about a possible target for the Cubs. That's a familiar target.
Ooh. I don't want to talk Cubs anymore.
They're
all
good,
right,
though.
all right. I'll talk Cubs. All right, we got that. Ryan McGlade will be next. BuckeyeSports.com. Champaign fans, don't forget, Champaign Central baseball coach John Staub's going to join us at 4:30. His squad advancing to the state playoffs in baseball.
You can call us on the Jupiter's Crossing phone line or the Cheap Hour text line, 217-359-2255. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. I tweet at J Warner Scout.
At Lonte, ESPNCU.
Get the podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. Download the WSJK app. Watch us live on YouTube. Just search Tay and J Show. I think I have the intern list.
Good luck.
Harry, Maddie, David, Nathan, Austin. Do we have anybody else? Jacob's in there? We have 6.
Jacob's in here. What sport has 8 players?
we got a soccer team in there.
That's almost right. Yes, listen, we are full of to every other community or every other business in Champaign that needs an intern. You can't have ours. We're rolling in here. It is the Tay and J Show.
Going on 5 years, Rock's Place in St. Joseph has become the neighborhood sports bar and grill for a lot of folks in the area. Rock's Place is known for their delicious burgers, and they also have great daily food and drink specials. Plus, Rock's has plenty of TVs, so you can keep tabs on the Cubs and Cardinals all summer long. And while you're there, press your luck on one of Melody Music's video gaming machines. For delicious food, cold drinks, and good company, make it Rock's Place, 101 North Main Street in St. Joseph. Find them on Facebook, ROCHS in St. Joseph.
Your four-legged friends need protection too. Pet insurance from Pekin Insurance covers cats and dogs at least 6 weeks of age or older as an enhancement to your homeowner's coverage. Choose between $2,500 or $5,000 worth of coverage for a variety of pet health services. You can even take your pet to the veterinarian of your choice. Learn more at PekinInsurance.com or ask your local agent about how to protect your furry family members. For pet insurance that is beyond the expected, contact Pekin Insurance today.
Our customers are neighbors. For over 140 years, Busey has been proud to partner with our communities for purpose and progress. Busey backs our neighbors with a solid promise to reinvest in our communities one project at a time. We live where we loan because we want you to love where you live. Visit Busey.com or stop by one of our many convenient locations for solutions to your banking and wealth management needs. Busey, your dream, our promise. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Experience what makes Eastland Suites the best. Like unique accommodations for guests who need extended stays. Full kitchens, patio and balcony access, and grills in the courtyard for cookouts. Extended stay guests also love the free Wi-Fi, fitness center, and complimentary hot buffet breakfast. And Tanya, don't forget about the full-service lobby bar, large swimming pool, and the free shuttle, and the...
Experience the best. Experience Eastland Suites. Book online at eastlandsuitesurbana.com.
The Snyder Company.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Oh, it's not you! I got all fooled. Austin's in there. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, there's no Birkeland rap or
This
anything.
is so weird because I thought Jeremy was doing it today.
No, I've got it.
I got lost in the confusion of that room. That's my bad. Go ahead, my friend.
All right, I'm Austin Birkeland with your 3:30 Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote and get 25% off their mosquito program. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Cam Johnson, a Pitt transfer, has made a decision where he will be continuing his college career, and that will be at the North Carolina, and he'll be a part of the Tar Heels. Illinois was interested in him. Derek Piper of IlliniInquirer.com is reporting that UIC signee Greg Eboig Bowden will be making his commitment soon, according to Greg's high school coach. Illinois, Pitt, and Purdue are involved in this one. Illinois basketball will start a home-and-home series with UNLV starting this upcoming season in Las Vegas. The return game will happen in Champaign during the 2018-19 season. In other scheduling news, this one is for Illinois football. The Ball State game will be an 11 a.m. kickoff, and the Western Kentucky game is at 7 p.m. The Illini will now have 3 straight primetime games this season. Sorry, media. The St. Louis Cardinals have fallen in their 4th straight game in which they have had a lead. Last night they fell to the Reds 4-2. The Reds had a 4-run 7th inning.
Why do you lead with the Cardinals when they lose, and you lead with the Cubs every other time?
Just a reminder. Don't want to miss it. Carlos Martinez gave up all 4 runs. The Cards play the Red Legs tonight at 6:10. Oh, and the Cubs are on a different streak. They've won 4 in a row. They beat the Marlins 3-1 with Almora and Bryant hitting a bomb. And the White Sox face the Rays. It's Jose Quintana versus Chris Archer.
Ooh.
That's an ace matchup.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Jeremy Warner, Lon Tay. We're going to talk with Ryan McGlade from BuckeyeSports.com here in a few minutes. He called the Cincinnati Reds the Red Legs.
I saw that, or heard that. I mean,
what is your favorite alternate name for a team?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm
My favorite is when Hawk Harrelson calls the Red Sox the Carmines.
The Carmines?
He calls them the Carmines.
I wonder why.
Yeah. Or one of the favorites of Hawk Harrelson, and this is why you love Hawk Harrelson.
You're right.
They were playing the Mariners one time.
Oh, no.
And the bases were loaded. So he said, sacks full of seamen. Oh, he said
that's pretty good.
He said it quicker than I.
Yes, exactly. No, come on. You got to give Hawk his due on that one.
Good.
That was really good. I'm trying to think what another Bronx Bombers, maybe?
Yeah.
Would that be one? That'd be the other name for the Yankees. What does the Phillies have another name?
Your Birds on the Bat.
Birds on the Bat. Is there anything prettier than that logo?
The Buccos for the Pirates.
Yeah, that's true. I like the Bucks. I like that. I like that name for the Pirates. Do the Cubs have another one? Losers? Lovable losers? Oh, that's right.
Just went straight for the core of
it. Oh, and Austin just staring me down in there. All right, it is time to hit the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line.
Tuesdays, don't forget, get half off large pizzas all day at Jupiters of the Crossing. He's Ryan McGlade, BuckeyeSports.com. Thad Matta ousted yesterday. Ryan, what was the reaction in Columbus yesterday?
Well, a spokesperson for Ohio State sent out an email, I think right at noon yesterday, saying that there was going to be a joint press conference with Thad Matta and then the Ohio State athletic director, Gene Smith. And the immediate reaction, I think, was that it was going to be Thad Matta resigning, but then reports, started and rumors started to surface, leading up to the 2:00 press conference, saying that he was going to be back for one more year and then hang it up. But turns out that the 2016-17 season was his final year. So I guess, the initial reaction was that, people assumed that he was done at Ohio State, and then rumors developed and people started to assume that, or think that he's going to be back for a farewell.
Yeah, a little swan song.
Season.
So Ryan, why the timing now? June. I mean, this is pretty late to start a coaching search.
Right. And, Gene Smith was actually asked that in the press conference yesterday, and he said that he and Matta, they had basically like a season-ending meeting, shortly after the season ended this year, and the meeting was, just about the plan moving forward this off season, this summer with recruiting and things like that, and trying to get the program back in the right direction. And then some things happened this off season. Darius Baisley, one of, if not the best, recruit in Ohio, decommitted in April. Jaquan Lyle, who was a sophomore last year, he quit the team back in April, but it was announced in May. The same day, we all found out that he was arrested after drinking and acting carelessly in his hometown. A couple guys transferred out of the program. They missed on a couple recruits. MJ Walker down in Jonesboro, Georgia, and a top 2017 guy. A guy you guys know, Mark Smith, he went to Illinois over Ohio State. The Ohio State missed out on a couple of transfers. So I think just a combination of all of those things led up to Gene Smith calling to have a meeting with Matta this past Friday. And at that meeting, that's when they determined it was time to go in a different direction with a new head coach. So it basically, like I said, it was just a combination of all those things that led up to it. I think at the end of the season, Gene Smith's mindset was, okay, we're sticking with Matta. We'll see how next season goes, with the guys that are returning in the incoming class and things like that. But I think just too many things went south.
Ryan,
2-3 months after the season.
Yeah, Ryan McGlade, our guest, BuckeyeSports.com. We played a soundbite yesterday from Gene Smith, and he kind of alluded to the recruiting, and you made it sound like it there as well. But I know the last 2 years, and really only 2 years, out of his entire stint at Ohio State were the Buckeyes even average. The other years really good with a lot of Big Ten titles in there, a couple Final Fours. Last year's team, did he lose that team? That was kind of a weird Buckeyes team last year. Did he lose that team at all, or was it just a situation of more after with all these other departures after the season?
I am really not sure. I don't know if the story, reached over there to Illinois where you guys are, but Ohio State lost to Northwestern at home this past season, and I think that was the first time in about 40 years that's happened. And right after the game, Mata in his press conference, he said that, someone on the team, he didn't specify who, someone on the team basically got up in front of everyone in the locker room and said everyone needs to look themselves in the mirror and, reality check and things like that. And then a couple of days later, it was found out it was Cam Williams, who's going to be a fifth-year senior this coming season. But, a lot of people were thinking that there was some guys fully committed to the program, some guys not fully committed to the program. It's really hard to tell. I think, I would say I think next year can maybe help answer that question. I'm sorry, this coming season can help answer that question with some guys leaving, some guys staying. Maybe the morale will begin to turn. But now that there's going to be a new coach, who knows what that will be like. But it's really hard to say. Like I said, I think the biggest thing, at least from my perspective, is that there appeared to be some kind of division within the locker room, which obviously is never a good thing.
Brian, this obviously, Mata had one of the best decade runs we've seen in the Big Ten ever. I mean, Ohio State was the prime team for a long time there.
Yes, it was.
Winning a share of 5 regular season championships, 4 conference tournaments, I believe, a couple Final Fours. Sometimes it always happens that there's eventually going to be a decline, but why did it decline the last couple years under Mata?
I think, like you guys mentioned earlier, Gene Smith, one of the first things, or one of the main topics of discussion that he brought up during that press conference yesterday was recruiting. And I think Mata's health these last few years led to the recruiting suffering, if that makes sense. He had, in that press conference yesterday, he said he's had 4 back surgeries in his life so far. His first one came when he was 15 years old. He had another back surgery 10 years ago, and it was a botched back surgery, and it led to a dropped foot that he's dealt with since. He even admitted yesterday that there was one year where he struggled to walk at times. And then he also said that there were times where he couldn't take his shoes off after a game or take his own pants off after a game. So, if you can't do things like that, I'd imagine it'd be difficult to go out in your car, drive so many hours to see a recruit, or get in a plane and, fly so many miles to go see a recruit. And, that led to, the demise, I guess you would say, these past couple of years. I think, and you guys know recruiting is everything nowadays. So, and another thing is, in March, he even talked about how he admitted or told this story, how an opposing coach told a recruit that Mata was dying, which obviously is not true.
Wow. Wow.
That just shows you what opposing coaches, like the tactics they would use to draw recruits away from Ohio State these past couple of years. And I think, that had a lot to do with, with the decline of the program these last 2 seasons. Unfortunately,
Yeah, exactly.
Ryan McGlade, BuckeyeSports.com. So, Ryan, now there's a coaching search in June, but I think Ohio State, with the brand they have and that athletic program, the resources they have, they're going to have a lot of interested candidates. I don't think Brad Stevens or Billy Donovan are going to be two of them, so I know Ohio State fans like Indiana fans are dreaming of that, but who do you think are realistic candidates that Ohio State can land here, and how quickly do you think Gene Smith will get his guy?
Yeah. A couple of names that seem like realistic options right now are Chris Mack, the head coach at Xavier, and Chris Holtmann, the head coach at Butler. Now they're both in the midst of, their respective programs, some of the greatest times in the respective programs. But, it sounds like if Ohio State, offers the right price, either one of those two, may accept that offer. So longer shots I've heard are Sean Miller out in Arizona, but to me, I find it hard to believe that he would, drop what he has going on out there to come to Ohio State and try to, pick up the pieces right now. With the monster he's built out there in Tucson, I would think it'd be hard to walk away from that. A couple other names: Shaka Smart down in Texas, Greg Marshall, Wichita State. But like you said, Billy Donovan, Brad Stevens, there's no chance of that happening. I mean, I don't see that. And really, it's from the perspective of, the Ohio State basketball program, it's too bad that they didn't part ways with Mata in March, because then they would have had a shot at landing Archie Miller. Sure. Now, I don't know for sure if he'd come to Ohio State, but, being from Dayton and everything, and coaching at Dayton, it seems like, that might have been a great fit for him to come over to Ohio State. But since, the Mata news comes now, Archie Miller, he went over to Indiana, and sounds like he's pretty locked in there. But I would say the realistic options right now would be Chris Holtmann at Butler and Chris Mack at Xavier, just to name a couple.
Ryan, I think it's interesting, and Jeremy and I talked a lot about this yesterday, the fact that is, I don't want to say it's a low-pressure job. That's not true. But with as big as Ohio State football is in that area, in that city, in that state, et cetera, around the nation, it is one of those jobs that seemingly is kind of strange because, yes, there's pressure on it, but in a way there's not.
Sure, absolutely. And I think that's another thing that Ohio State's going to have to consider with this coaching search. They're going to have to get a coach who is okay with being, I guess, quote unquote, second fiddle to football.
Right.
But, some of the past coaches in Ohio State history have left town because of that reason. They want to be, they want it to be a basketball school. They want it to be the, main sport at the university. But, it's a weird dynamic. I mean, I personally think that, Mata elevating the program to heights it hasn't seen at least for a while.
Right.
I think that kind of, led to Ohio State, letting him go. It's just, you know what I mean? It's kind of like I don't know how I would describe it, but it's almost like like I said, the standards that he set, that's what came back
to bite him a little bit.
Yeah, it came back to bite him almost. So it's a weird dynamic. I think now that, Mata's been here, he was here the last 13 years, with all the NCAA appearances and Final Fours and Elite Eights and things like that, I think fans are used to that. And now, they expect that to be the norm for Ohio State basketball when maybe, in the, I don't know, 90s for sure, maybe the 80s and some, that wasn't the norm. But, it was a celebration if they just made the tournament. So, definitely a interesting dynamic moving forward here.
Yeah, without a doubt. Ryan McGlade, BuckeyeSports.com. Thad Mata out, and now we'll see what Gene Smith does here in the near future. Ryan, appreciate your time and information.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Mack and Chris Holtmann make a lot of sense to me. If he can get Mack, he's my guy.
Yes.
Because he's not only won at a high level, but he's recruited at a pretty dang high level. And I know Ryan was struggling to get that point out, but
right.
I think he's right in that Thad Matta set the bar so high at Ohio State because he's the best coach I've ever had.
Sure.
And now they're used to that.
Right.
And even if football is top dog, I mean, there's still plenty of Ohio State basketball fans there that don't like seeing this kind of decline, that are used to competing for championships every year. So now that he set that standard, he's got to live up to it.
Yep.
Right? And that's hard to do after 13 years and failing health right now.
And don't forget, back in the day, and I'm talking not the modern era, Ohio State had some really good basketball teams. And a lot of those guys now are probably guys funding some of this program. So you can bet that they want to stay on top. And the last 2 years are not something that Ohio State has been now used to in the last 20 years. So it will be interesting to see what they do, and it'll be interesting to see. And I think it's a fair point that Ryan said about maybe some coaches do they want to play second fiddle? Well, I think if you pay enough money and are at a spot like Ohio State where you can recruit nationally or at least at a high level around the Midwest, I think that can hide a lot of that.
The only thing is Billy Donovan had that at Florida.
Yes, he did.
He won championships there.
Good call.
Yet they didn't invest in his program.
Right.
They didn't put together the facilities that he deserved and he earned there.
And Ohio State has them.
Yeah, and Ohio State, as long as you still invest in me,
right.
You can talk about football all you want. I think that only helps your program.
That's a good point.
I think it only helps when you have another program doing well, as long as they're investing in you as much as you're winning. If football's making all this money, obviously they deserve to get money put into there. But as long as I'm making money and winning, you should be putting that money back into me as well.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. If you want to weigh in on that, 217-359-2255. That's the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line. And also, same number, Chief Bauer text line 359-2255.
Is Mark D'Antonio in trouble?
Ooh.
Some troubling things going on at Michigan State. We'll talk about that next.
It is the Tay and J Show.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. What will you do during the next market correction? At Provident, we believe a sound financial plan is the surest way to avoid panic during market volatility. Contact us today to put a plan in place for you. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
The official fan store of the Fighting Illini is moving. Game Day Spirit, currently located at 1422 South Neal Street, is moving to the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign this July. In the meantime, they're preparing for the lowest prices of the season to be available during their moving sale in June. Stay tuned for more information and follow them on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram by searching Game Day Spirit. Stay in the know of all things Game Day and all things Fighting Illini with Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
Our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month is Mike Cervantes, a K-9 officer with his dog Hunter. How does one become a K-9 officer?
Well, I was fortunate enough when Sergeant Lushin had the dog. I was in the street crimes unit with him. So as Hunter started his drug career, per se, that's when I started also. For Hunter specifically, he's a narcotics detection and human detection dog. So if somebody, say, a little kid walks away from a place, or an older person walks away from a nursing home, something like that, he's able to track them down. He's also able to do article recoveries. So if somebody's running from us and they toss a gun, somebody loses their keys, which we've helped do that before, he can go in an area and I can give him the command to search for that human odor, and he can find that. He's also able to detect odors of illegal narcotic.
Brought to you by F.E. Moran Security Solutions.
You know you need to do it, and you know you should do it at least twice a year. You owe it to yourself. I'm talking about a checkup at West Main Dental in Urbana. When was the last time you visited the dentist? If you can't remember, or you're in need of a new dentistry team, West Main Dental is where you should go. Our team at West Main Dental is waiting to see you. Come in and be catered by a professional staff that includes Dr. Janet Bardell, a University of Illinois and Southern Illinois University graduate. West Main Dental offers the highest level of dental care in a warm and comforting environment. From a simple quick checkup to providing you with an at-home teeth whitening kit or orthodontic services, trust the professionals at West Main Dental. Visit West Main Dental in downtown Urbana on Main Street, online at westmaindental.com, or call 607-1292. Trust me, you won't be able to stop smiling with a set of healthy, sparkling white teeth thanks to the work of West Main Dental. West Main Dental, online at westmaindental.com, or call 607-1292 to schedule an appointment today.
Don't miss the biggest savings ever at Illini Mattress. Now through June 11th, get a luxurious night's sleep and save up to $800 on select Stearns & Foster adjustable mattress sets. Plus, interest-free financing for up to 60 months with approved credit. You heard right. That's 5 years with no interest at Illini Mattress. We also provide free delivery, setup, and removal, and a $100 gift with the purchase of the Stearns & Foster sleep system that's perfect for you. The Stearns & Foster biggest savings ever ends June 11th, so hurry in to Illini Mattress.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
This weekend, the Cardinals host the Pirates, a big weekend of promotions, including an adult Cardinals pullover, Bob Gibson bobblehead, and kids Fredbird bobblehead. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
That'd be a cool bobblehead. Bobby Gibson is going to have a snarl on his face.
Well, you guys got to remember the good old days, right?
Exactly. That's right. Somebody was telling me the story about...
They've ended.
Gibby, Tim McCarver was like a rookie, and he starts coming to the mound, and he gets out to the mound, and he's like, did he send him out here? He's asking if the coach or the manager sent him out. He goes, no. And he goes, then what are you doing here? He's like, you get behind home plate. I would have loved to have a game with Bob Gibson mic'd up.
Well, we had, when we talked to Lou Brock.
Yes.
He told a bunch of Bob Gibson stories that were ridiculous.
I mean, Gibby.
Some troubling news out of East Lansing is Michigan State football players Donnie Corley, Josh King, an Illinois native, and Demetric Vance, all facing charges of criminal sexual conduct. This from the Lansing State Journal. Arrest warrants for third-degree criminal sexual conduct for all three were issued on Tuesday morning following a hearing in front of Judge Richard D. Ball. Michigan State University police officer Chris Davis provided testimony. Third-degree criminal sexual assault is a felony punishable up to 15 years in prison. King is also charged with a second count of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and one count of capturing/distributing an image of an unclothed person. First-degree sexual conduct is punishable by up to life in prison. The charges stem from an alleged January 16th incident in an on-campus apartment and come after a 4-month investigation by Michigan State University police. Identities of the three players were kept secret throughout the investigation, weren't revealed until charges were issued on Tuesday morning. 3 players were suspended from the team. They have been removed from university housing, and Michigan State has dismissed those players since this report came up. So these were 3 big-time recruits for Michigan State. Corley was a top 200 kid. King was, I think, a 5-star recruit. And this is what happens when a program on the rise,
for sure,
that has a great culture starts to recruit kids it couldn't recruit earlier. And
Isn't that the truth?
Graham Couch from the Lansing State Journal had a great line in his column today, which said that D'Antonio should be on the hot seat. The one line towards the end of the story: MSU football rose to Wisconsin's level and then tried to be Ohio State. It bit them.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a great line. Culture is so important.
It is.
And I know everyone wants every 5-star recruit because it's nice to see.
Right.
Nice to see 5-star recruits, and yes, you want them. But you also got a culture piece that is so important. That locker room, those football facilities, that basketball facility, it is so important to make sure there's no poison in there.
Right.
That you're not kowtowing to certain 18, 19, 20-year-olds. You got to have your culture, and you got to have everybody bought into it. Otherwise, it could blow up pretty quickly. And Michigan State, which was the model of consistency here the last 7 years, they were Wisconsin. And there's nothing wrong with just being that.
No, there's not.
Because Wisconsin's going to Rose Bowls. They're winning Big Ten championships. And Ohio State and Michigan are really, really good right now. but you can still be really, really good
Yes, you
and
can.
win some Big Ten titles as Michigan State showed doing what they're doing.
You took advantage of a little bit of a downturn for Michigan for a few years.
And
D'Antonio and Ohio State, no doubt about that. I guess the one thing I'll counter with a little bit is that, yes, I see where Graham's going there, and I understand a little bit about where he's going, but you can also run into issues with 2- and 3-star and 4-star kids, right?
I'm not just saying that, but more likely,
Correct.
I'm saying you're bending over backwards for
Correct.
some of these kids, or you're going to be willing to be loosey-goosey with your standards.
Correct.
Because you're just like,
correct.
Bruce Weber would not have taken Jeremy Richmond.
Yes.
If Jeremy Richmond were a 3-star recruit.
Well, and that's the thing. There's tons of 3-star recruits. So
Yes.
when you're recruiting 3-star guys, if you will, you're looking at the ones you really want. If you're saying this guy's not that much better than this guy, which guy are we looking that goes to the classroom every day? Which guy, doesn't have any issues in the past? Whereas Jeremy Richmond had some fighting issues.
I mean, there were some red flags about Jeremiah Tillman.
Yes.
And Teddy Greenstein had that quote from somebody saying Illinois is better off without him.
Right.
I don't know if the red flags were as high as they were or as visible as they were for Jeremy Richmond, or as plentiful as they were with Jeremy Richmond.
I can still remember them talking about him, getting in fights. I think
Richmond you're talking about.
Yeah, Jeremy Richmond. I thought he got in a fight with like Brandon Paul or something during a.
Well, that was this season.
That was
at the end of the season. He punched Brandon Paul.
That's right. That's right. That was here. But there were a couple of others in high school, and it's I don't listen. A kid gets in a fight in high school. I had plenty of buddies that got into fights in high school, but it can be a red flag. And obviously, then when you get to the 5-star level, sometimes you're more willing to overlook that.
Yeah, and here's a little bit from D'Antonio, the head coach, of course, of Michigan State football, Mark Hollis, the AD.
I want to share my deep concern for the young woman affected and her family by this situation. This is and has been an extremely challenging situation that we've taken very seriously throughout the entire process. It has affected everyone in this program, top to bottom. From the people that cover this, to our athletic director, our president, our board of trustees, to our coaches, our players, everybody, to the families. The high standards I have established for this program will not change. The values that we teach to everyone in this program will be enforced. I expect all of our players and staff to conduct themselves in a manner that reflects the ideals of this university.
D'Antonio and our administrative staff took prompt and decisive action. Athletic department staff were cooperative throughout the investigations, and it was imperative that we, as an athletic department, did not intervene, or influence those investigations. Patience was a necessary part of that process for all of us. The football program receives extensive education and training. It is frequent and ongoing. This training is direct and aimed at real-life scenarios, including leadership, respect for others, prevention of sexual assault, and domestic violence.
So that's Mark Hollis, the AD at the end there, and Mark D'Antonio at the beginning. Listen,
saying the right things.
Yeah, there are certain things that a coach can have control over. There are certain things they can. Bringing players in with the right character is one of them.
No doubt.
Now, can you stop them from doing everything?
Right.
No, I think John Gross and Lovie Smith have shown that. I mean, you can't control everything.
No, you can't.
You can't control the character. You can see a little bit of that when they're recruits.
Sure.
And I think Mark D'Antonio probably took some risks.
Yes.
Just so he could get those certain 5-star. I mean,
Stay at
Donnie
that
Corley and Josh King were big-time recruits.
Big time.
Right? They got those guys over some of the Ohio States, Michigans of the world.
Right.
And there's always that risk. So I know fans, they want every 5-star, 4-star recruit. Some of them might not be worth it.
Fair enough.
In the end.
It's fair enough. It's a fine line, right? That's why coaches get paid a lot of money. That's why I don't think I'd ever want to be a coach.
D'Antonio, if he looks back at it maybe a year or two ago, should have gotten out of Dodge.
Yes, I agree.
The Lon Kruger thing, man, he's got to figure it out.
He does. There's no doubt about it. All right, plenty to chat about in the next hour. Also, Champaign Central baseball coach John Staub visits with it about his team heading to state. It is the Tay and J Show.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966, Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
Got a question? Talk to our experts at StevieJay.com. Experts are ready to answer your questions for free. Looking for cool trends in clothing or gear as you support area teams? Game Day Spirit is the official fan store of the Fighting Illini. Landscaping tips are also available from Country Arbor's Nursery. New tile or soft surfaces in your home or business? Flooring Surfaces, where the world is at your feet. Experts are available now online at StevieJay.com.
Mosquitoes can be a nuisance, and after a mild winter like we had, they're even worse. Let Prairie View Landscaping get rid of those pesky mosquitoes so you can enjoy the summer outdoors without bugs getting in the way. And since it's Prairie View Landscaping's 25th year in business, they're celebrating by offering up to 25% off their mosquito program. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. mypvdiscount@gmail.com. And if you sign up by May 31st, you can win 2 free mosquito control applications out of 4. Prairie View Landscaping, mypvdiscount@gmail.com. Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
President Trump urging Congress again to replace Obamacare quickly as another major insurer, Anthem, pulls out in Ohio.
If Congress doesn't act to save Americans from this Democrat-inflicted catastrophe, next year is only going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse.
The president meeting with top Republican lawmakers as the Senate works on its version of a replacement bill. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
I have a message for our Republican colleagues. It's very simple. Abandon repeal. Stop sabotaging our health care system.
He says Democrats are ready to work on improving the system, not repealing it. A man armed with a hammer and knives attacks police at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. He was shot and wounded by officers.
The attacker is now known to be an Algerian man who told police he was a soldier of the caliphate. He wounded one officer in the head before being shot in the legs by armed police who patrol major tourist sites in the French capital.
Fox's Benjamin Hall, a counter-terror investigation now underway. Police say the man shouted, "This is for Syria." That may or may not be a reference to the offensive launched today to take back what's considered to be the ISIS capital.
U.S. officials have long warned that as they tighten that hold and they overthrow ISIS in their de facto capital, Raqqa, in Syria, that will push some of the foreign fighters out of the country and perhaps they will spread to other locations overseas.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. Meantime, U.S. warplanes targeting pro-regime forces for the second time in a month in Syria, saying they entered a restricted area near a coalition base and ignored warnings. Back-to-back losses on Wall Street. The Dow down 47 points. The NASDAQ drops 20. The S&P down 6. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
When you're hiring for a growing business, you don't need lots of candidates. You need the right candidates. You need Indeed.com. With an algorithm that positions your job post where quality candidates are and screener questions that help you zero in on the best talent. Indeed.com, the site proven through an independent study to deliver 5 times more hires than any other. New users claim your $50 credit for a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
As a 300-foot-tall dino monster, people think all I'm good at is rampaging. But there's more to me than that. Just like Geico. Yeah, they could save you money, but they also have over 75 years of savings and service. So Geico is super good at insurance. And yeah, I like rampaging. But I'm also a huge fan of opera.
Geico.
Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
The accuser in the only criminal case against Bill Cosby takes the stand.
Andrea Constand says she couldn't push Bill Cosby away because of a drug-induced state she was in. That was part of her late-day testimony. For the first time publicly, she told her story with the man she accused just feet away. Cosby said to look down toward the defense table as Constand told what she recalled. She says the assault happened in 2004. The defense has pointed to inconsistencies in her recollection. Constand is the prosecution's star witness whose testimony is critical to any hope for conviction. At the courthouse in Norristown, Pennsylvania, Gernal Scott, Fox News.
The Trump administration insisting it can still work with Qatar, even as the president praises several Arab Gulf nations for severing ties with the country.
I think our relationship with Qatar is one that's strong. It's one that we continue to cooperate with Qatar and other countries in the region in the fight against terrorism.
State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert. Meantime, Jordan just announcing it is scaling back its diplomatic ties with Qatar and closing the local office of Al Jazeera TV. A judge declaring a mistrial today in the case of a North Carolina pastor accused of leading an assault on a gay church member who says he was attacked to expel homosexual demons. The mistrial was over misbehavior by a juror who's been sent to jail for 30 days. Actor George Clooney and his human rights lawyer wife Amal are now the proud parents of twins.
Ella and Alexander are their names, and according to their representatives, everyone is happy, healthy, and doing fine.
Fox's Michelle Polino in L.A., a publicist for Mr. Clooney, jokes that he's sedated and should recover in a few days. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, low of 54. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 77, low of 53. Thursday, a little warmer, sunny, high 80, low of 58. Right now, sunny, clear, 80 degrees in Champaign-Urbana.
It's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner. We get off early today, off around 5:15. Cardinals and Reds. Adam Wainwright on the hill against some dude named Tim Adelman, who will probably beat the Cardinals tonight. You'll hear that right here, ESPN 93.5. Champaign Central baseball coach John Staub will join us bottom of the hour to talk about the Chargers not the Chargers. My bad, everybody. The Maroons heading to the state
you're gonna
quarterfinals.
Get so many nasty texts for that.
There's no doubt about that. I throw in a little Centennial. Centennial's had some great baseball teams. So has Central the last 3 years. But this year, Central advancing the state. We'll talk to John Staub. And earlier, Derek Piper wrote an article about a young man that was going to make a decision shortly. It was, quote, shortly. And I wondered, what does that mean? Now we know.
It happened pretty quickly.
It did.
Greg Eboigboden is your new big man for Illinois basketball. Nice. He just tweeted out that he is committed to the University of Illinois. Illinois has another big guy.
Good.
So Greg Eboigboden, now part of the Illini family. We have him as a 2-star recruit, but Pitt had offered. Purdue was showing a lot of interest here late, but Chin Coleman had the connection. Was a former UIC signee, about 6'9", 220 pounds, something like that. But athletic, can defend, can rebound, maybe block some shots a little bit.
Okay.
So this is a much needed need for Illinois when you looked at the future.
Right.
Now, what are you going to get out of him really early? I'm not sure, but he did average a double-double last year for a state championship team in Detroit.
Okay.
So I don't think he's as raw as some people think. I mean, he's going to be raw because he's a high school big man, but there's not much offensive game there. You would love to add a fifth-year transfer big if you can find one.
No doubt.
But if you can't, it seems like the Illinois staff thinks this kid can handle about 10 to 12 minutes there.
A few thoughts came into my mind. Number one, I've got to say this kid's name now for 4 years. That is a scary thought. Eboigboden.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard when you think about it.
It looks intimidating, but it's
you can't
really
look at
not
it.
that hard.
Greg Eboigboden. My second thought was, I think you start him against Missouri and just let him dominate Tillman.
Well, somebody threw this out there. Would you rather have Jeremiah Tillman and Javon Pickett or Mark Smith and Greg Boyd Bowden?
Yeah, Boyd Bowden and whatever his name is, and Mark Smith. Yeah, I want that.
Yeah.
I don't know how long Tillman will be there, number one, and I don't think Pickett. I think, what do we need? We need to call him something. Eboig? Ebo. Good enough. Ebo. I think Ebo will have a greater impact in college than Javon Pickett will. Yeah. So then it comes down to Tillman and Smith, and I think Smith will easily have a bigger
I think
impact.
Pickett can be better than what some people think.
Okay.
I think he can be a solid player for them and maybe eventually turn into a pretty good scorer for him. I think delaying it a year actually helps him personally. But I do think Illinois gets the winning side of that.
Without a doubt. I think this is a nice recruit for Illinois. We have to understand where you're at right now. So you need to put this recruit in context with this happens this late in the process. You get a kid that had a double-double for a state title team. He has athleticism. I mean, when you watch, yes, the highlight reel is a highlight reel for a reason, but he moves well. And that was the one thing I wanted to see is how he got up and down the court. He does that. Number 2 or 3, wherever I'm at in that conversation, you need depth right now for underneath because right now you have nothing. You have no depth. You have guys like Kipper Nichols, who you were thinking were going to have to play inside. Now he still can, but you at least
Nichols will still play the 4.
Yeah, he still will.
You got Black and Nichols at the 4,
Finke.
And then you have Finke and Boyd Bowden at the 5.
So you've got depth now, and you're not done. I don't think. I don't think you're done.
Depth,
well,
but you have
a body.
You actually have 4 guys
exactly
that you're going to put in the post.
You at least have a body.
LaRon Black can play the 5
sure
for what they want.
Sure,
I'm not saying that's ideal. I'm not saying what they're going to want in the future. You'd have a guy like Condit who's 6'10" and really long in the future, but I think with what they want to do offensively and defensively, just getting in people's grill and being physical, I think Nichols at the 4 is fine.
Okay.
I think it's absolutely fine. And maybe you can put LaRon Black there. You're not going to have much of a rim protector there next year, but I think that's a lot better than what you were thinking of going into the year. Now that you have a guy that you can at least get 10 minutes out of, if you can find a grad transfer, it'd be great.
It would be.
It's just there's not a lot out there right now.
And if you hadn't heard the news, the kid from Pitt, is it Cam Russell? Is that his name? That's not
Cam Johnson.
Cam Johnson. Cam Russell, not sure who that is, but kudos to you, is going to North Carolina.
Well, we'll see.
Oh.
Because Pitt had blocked him.
Oh,
from
that's
going
right.
to North
I thought
Carolina.
That was the case.
He committed anyway. Cam Johnson, who averaged 11 points per game last year for Pitt, a really good 3-point shooter, has 2 years left of eligibility. Pittsburgh's release stipulates that he's immediately eligible to play everywhere except the ACC, where he'd face a 1-year penalty. But he's going to fight that ruling. Him and the NCAA. His father, Gilbert, explained to InsideCarolina.com, he didn't get a waiver yet, but per the NCAA and ACC, they say it's illegal to take away a year from him because he's a graduate transfer. It says he can go or not. His father is referring to NCAA bylaw 14.6.1, which does not contain the 1-year penalty that Pittsburgh is trying to enforce. Carolina is going to fight it out, his dad said.
That is interesting. All right, so we'll see how this works. Well, let's hey, everybody get your violin out for Carolina here and hope that something goes right for them because it's been so unfair for the Tar Heels of late. I started thinking here with Boyd Bowden, you now have Jamal Walker with 1 tally, right? I'm not giving Underwood tallies. It's just assistants. Walker has the tally with Smith. Now Chin Coleman has a tally with Boyd Bowden. What have you done for me lately, Antigua? It's your turn, big fella. Go out and isn't it funny though that he's the guy that really is the national big man, especially recruiter. So it'll be interesting to see. But listen, again, not earth shattering, but I like this. I like this signing.
You need role players.
Yes, you do.
I mean, you landed, you think, a star in this class when you got Mark Smith, the Illinois Mr. Basketball. And if he would have started this rise, maybe during the summer circuit last year,
right,
he'd probably be a top 50 recruit. Right now, we have him at 78 on Scout.
Okay.
The experts at Scout didn't see him enough. I mean, Derek Piper saw him a lot. Derek said he'd definitely be a top 60 guy. Him and Jordan Goodwin,
right,
really, close, he would say, in rankings, but he thinks Mark Smith can be even better. So I think Mark Smith you can look at as a top 60 guy nationally. Trent Frazier, there's some star potential there as possibly,
no doubt,
one of the better players on your team. DeMonte Williams, there's upside there.
Okay.
I hope he defends.
Yes.
If he defends and is athletic, I think those two things can work really well in Brad Underwood's scheme. But if he's looking to be a star right away, I think then you can run into trouble. I mean, I think he's got to accept a role early and then develop into one of the better players on the team. Boyd Bowden, play defense and rebound.
Amen.
You need guys who do that, clean up on the offensive glass. They do that really well in Underwood's scheme. So that's your 4 in this class.
Right.
It's a lot different than we thought it was going to be. We were thinking Jeremiah Tillman, Jordan Goodwin, Javon Pickett, DeMonte Williams.
Yep.
Maybe a guy like Nogel Eastern or something like that. But what do you make of this 2017 class now that it's Smith, Frazier, Williams, Boyd Bowden?
I love it because you're getting back to guard heavy now. And I think Illinois has seen plenty the last 5 years about a team that does not have guards that are capable. And you've seen it, and you've seen the results. And you look around college basketball, yes, there are teams with big men that can succeed, but if you have good guards on the court for your team, you have a better chance of winning a game. In other words, if I'm putting together a team and you're putting together a team and you give me the guards, I think I'm going to be able to win that game.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this class. And we don't know yet about DeMonte. The injury will be interesting. And the fact that DeMonte's a little bit of a unknown coming in.
Oh, just when he was starting to come into his own, he has that injury, right? I mean, his junior year, he was kind of up and down, and then the AAU circuit wasn't having it, and I think part of that was playing for Mac Irvin. He didn't enjoy that experience, so I think now he started to come into his own last fall, kind of take over games, and then he tears his ACL.
Right.
That stunk.
That does.
Really stunk for Illinois and for him personally, obviously. You'd love to redshirt him if you can. But on a roster with 10 guys,
right,
that's difficult. But I don't see him playing a major role next year. So hopefully they can talk to him and be like, hey, long term,
yes,
this is the best for you. You can rehab, get accustomed to this, make sure you're full strength, and then it could allow you to be the best player in a team down the road.
Right.
But kind of get ready for it. I mean, with Mark Smith, Trent Frazier, Tijon Lucas, Mark Allstork, and Aaron Jordan, I don't think DeMonte Williams needs to play a big role. You're young in that backcourt, but with Allstork there, with those young guys, I think it's a pretty talented backcourt that can do some damage.
Without a doubt.
Offensively.
And that's one thing I hadn't thought about with regards to JCL's transfer is that now, because of that, and maybe even with JCL here, DeMonte doesn't redshirt, but definitely because of JCL being gone now, you almost have to play DeMonte Williams and not redshirt him. So I forget, you don't think about the impact of that possibly that could have had. The other thing I think you see now is with your guard-oriented squad, and I think that's how Brad Underwood likes to play, now your big men don't necessarily have to be scorers. And that's what you talked about. Defense.
It's 4 out and 1 in.
Yeah, no doubt.
Basically what his offense is.
And that's why Finke can really make an impact. And I think LeRon Black can knock down some shots on occasion too. Last year he had that mid-range jumper going well early. So we'll see. But and that's why you kind of get excited. If anybody out there is wondering why we keep getting excited about Michael Finke in this offense, that's why. Because he's going to draw his man out. And if they don't want to guard him all the way out, Finke can shoot and have shots all day.
And they initiate a lot of their offense through the big man.
Yes.
Right? They get an entry pass to the elbow. And what's Finke good at?
Yep.
Shooting and passing.
Without a doubt.
Right? And that just gives him the ball, puts the ball in his hands. He's really good at that kind of thing, getting space. And that's what you see the Warriors doing.
Right.
Right? I mean, Kevin Durant's their biggest guy out there. And I know Kevin Durant's an NBA player.
Well, right.
And he's 7 foot and all that, but you don't need your traditional center.
No, you don't.
You need an athletic guy who can protect the rim and rebound a little bit. And then you have some guards, you could probably say Kipper Nichols is a guard, but he's going to play the 4 a lot, but he can get offensive rebounds.
Okay.
Right? He can be aggressive. And I think that's a guy you're excited about next year, too, because he fits that mold of physical player, gets after it defensively. And I hope DeMonte Williams, though he's not as big as Kipper or tall as Kipper, he's that physical presence that if he buys into that kind of role,
yes,
I think eventually he could be a very good player on this roster. I think Aaron Jordan fits well into this too.
I do too.
Aaron Jordan, the 2 things he does, he buys into his role, and that's defense. He plays it. He can get after it. He's long.
Yes, he can.
And he shoots when he's open.
Yep.
Now he needs to make more of those shots.
Right.
I don't know if that hitch in his delivery will ever look great or be great, but I do think they'll like him on this team because he'll buy into his role and he'll be a D&3 guy.
It's to me, I just thought of this. This could be a really physical team on the perimeter. I don't know about inside.
Somebody just texted, is JCL officially gone?
Oh, yeah.
He's gone.
Here you go. He's been awarded his release.
Yeah,
So
he visited DePaul this past week.
Okay, yeah, that's probably where he's going to go, we would assume, but we haven't heard anything.
You know, Xavier's in there, Butler's in there.
Okay.
Notre Dame's in there a little bit.
That would make sense for a kid.
But DePaul would make a lot of sense.
Would make a lot of sense with Shane Hireman. But when you think about Illinois and the perimeter, they could be physical. Mark Allstork's a pretty big guy. Mark Smith, we know, is a thick kid. He's strong. DeMonte can be strong. Kipper can be strong. LaRon, obviously, but now inside, I think you'll take a beating a little bit because of Finke's not a big guy, Burley, in terms of that. But they could be perimeter on the outside with regards to playing physical. And what's the one thing we talked about? The thing that scares me to death, and it scares me right now in June, it scared me in March, and it's going to scare me in October, is perimeter inside defense on the interior. Yes. And the one thing that Brad Underwood will
defensive rebounding.
And the one thing that Brad Underwood will try to counter the perimeter or the inside interior defense with is on the ball defense by his guards and wings.
How do you stop interior scoring? You don't let the ball get down there.
Don't let the ball get in. And that's where I think Illinois, with being physical on the perimeter, I think could be solid. I keep getting perimeter and interior mixed up, and I apologize. But I think that's where I'm going to look at early in the season next year to see how physical these guys are, how active they are playing defense on the ball. And that will be key, I think, for Illinois' defense, because if you keep letting big teams get touches inside, you're going to be in some deep trouble.
Yeah. So
deep trouble.
That's a nice addition. I think Boyd Bowden fits a role that they need on this roster.
Who's next?
We're going next.
Come on, who's next?
We can't just enjoy what Greg E. Boyd Bowden brings.
You're right. Let's give him at least a segment before I move on to the next guy.
Who's the next guy? I mean, long term, you need bigs who are athletic, and I think this will show you a little bit of their mold.
Yep.
Which is, we asked Antigua and Underwood, what do you want out of big? And Underwood said, he's got to do one thing really well.
Okay.
Or two things really well.
And this kid can run the court.
Yes. He can run the court and he can rebound.
Okay.
Right? And he's got some length to him. So he can maybe block some shots.
Yep.
Not asking him to be Jeremiah Tillman. You're not asking him to be a low post scorer. And I hope Illini fans understand that.
Absolutely.
You're asking him to be Nana Egwu.
Right.
And Nana Egwu was a 4-star, top 100 recruit that, in my opinion, lived up to all his potential.
Without a doubt.
But he was counted on to be the second or third best player on his team, scoring-wise,
right,
when that was not his game.
No.
But when you have Mark Smith and you have all these other pieces, you hope that kid doesn't have to do that. If Nana Egwu could just focus on playing defense and didn't have to score on those teams, everyone would have appreciated him for what he was.
And since I'm not the keynote speaker at the next Nana Egwu Defenders Club, because I'm not, the one thing that always bugged me about Nana, and I think it's fair, is that he can never develop even one offensive set. One offensive skill is all I asked out of him.
He should have been a face-up shooter.
Right.
And he wasn't very good at that.
Right. So now I want to see, was that staff's issue, or two staffs' issue, essentially?
Well, LaRon Black hasn't developed a post move yet.
No.
And I'm not talking about he needs a great hook shot, but one post move to go along with his mid-range jumper would be nice.
Give me one post move that if crunch time comes, if you get the ball 5 seconds and it's in your hand, you go to yours. If it gets blocked, it gets blocked.
The other thing
you go to your shot.
You know what a decent post move would be? Dunking the ball.
Well, that'd be nice.
When you have an opportunity.
We like dunks, right?
Well, Ron doesn't do it.
No, he doesn't.
Nana didn't do it.
Nope. Michael.
And Nana had bad hands on offense.
Yep.
I understand he had some deficiencies. Mm-hmm. But if you have a Nana Egwu, that is exactly what this roster needs.
That's right, because you've got
there's nothing wrong with being Nana Egwu for your career, leading the team career record in blocks.
Without a doubt.
And we've seen, since Nana Egwu left, how good has Illinois been on defense? Terrible.
It's been horrible.
Been absolutely terrible.
And you'll see it again this year. You'll probably see it again this year. The only difference is you have a new coaching staff in here that hopefully will have a better idea on how to play defense. But even then, you're a little bit weak on the inside with regards to defense. I think offensively, you're fine. But we'll see. And we'll see if Boyd Bowden can give you some minutes, even 8 to 10 a game. And that will be interesting to see for Illinois. That'd be huge. I had another thought, and I've lost it. And it was really good. Do you ever have that? Do you ever have a thought you're like, this is going to really shine?
Was it a Nana thought? Because I could talk about Nana Egwu forever.
It may have been. I think,
and how he was one of the most underappreciated Illini ever.
I think it was similar. I think when you said Nana, it got me thinking about that thought, but now I've forgotten it, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay. If you want to weigh in,
359-2255.
That's 217-359-2255. You can call us on the Jupiter's the Crossing phone line or text the Chief Bauer text line.
I have on this baseball in front of me, I got how you throw a 2-seam and a 4-seam fastball and then the slider. So now my goal is to mark on here how to throw a curve. This is what I give my kids at night. But I don't want them
studying this, not your geometry.
I don't know why. Right? Put the books down.
You can learn math from baseball.
Tell your mom that geometry, you'll never use it in your life. I kid. I know there's geometry teachers out there listening. I apologize.
Actually, geometry I use a lot in my life.
No doubt.
I mean, that's one of the maths we actually use. Trig. When have you ever used trig?
I never took it.
Calculus. I mean, unless you're an engineer.
What is calculus?
Or a scientist.
That's correct.
Like, when are you using that stuff?
Never. And have you ever...
Tell your teachers this, kids.
Have you ever written a term paper in your life?
No, it's good. It's good to... it's good to expand and use your brain and expand that and try to learn as much as possible when you're that age.
No doubt.
But you're never using trig or calc ever in your life. I'm just telling you.
We are upsetting teachers one moment at a time. It is the Tay and J Show.
Home is where the art is. It's where every day begins and ends. It's a place for big occasions and small. Home is where stories unfold and where they are told. We may leave, but we always come home again. First Financial Bank can help you achieve the home of your dreams. Talk with one of our friendly loan officers and we'll help you find the loan that's right for you. Consider it our way of saying welcome home. From First Financial Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Carpenters Local 243 in Champaign, Illinois wants to thank the contractors, developers, and business owners who utilize the skills and services of union carpenters on their projects. Carpenters Local 243 members are part of the world's highest skilled, most productive workforce. Members and contractors are committed to apprenticeship training and an ongoing journeyman skill advancement program. This provides the labor resources to ensure projects are completed. For a list of responsible contractors, call Carpenters Local 243 at 356-5463.
You buy Community Credit Union for campus and community.
When you think about summer, what comes to mind? Sunshine, picnics, ice cream, and double points. That's right, double points all summer long with the Illini Visa Rewards Card and the U of I Community Credit Union. Now through the end of summer, use your Illini Visa Rewards Card on purchases for gas, groceries, and restaurants and score double points. Plus, you can score an extra bonus 1,000 points with your Illini Visa for 20 or more transactions each month. Use those points to purchase once-in-a-lifetime trips and experiences. Not a member yet? Visit IlliniCard.org today.
Tuesdays can't get any respect. Every week it's like, I can't believe it's only Tuesday. No one ever asks, how was your Tuesday? But now there is something exciting about Tuesday. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Get an extra $10 off our lowest sale price on an AC Precision tune-up. That means you'll get a $120 tune-up for only $59 when you book online today at chiefbauer.com. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Take that, Saturday.
Need an oil change? See your Champaign CarX man. Right now at CarX Tire and Auto, get a full-service oil change starting at $24.99 with tire rotation and brake inspection. From oil changes to engine repair and everything in between, CarX Tire and Auto has been serving Champaign for almost 40 years with 3 convenient locations. Your Champaign CarX man has the right oil for your vehicle at a great price, $24.99. Stop in, call, or schedule online at CarX.com.
Don't worry, call the CarX man.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Sing. I just told the interns.
Got him good.
Hello, I'm Austin Berkland with your 4:30 Sports Center update brought to you by Prairie View Landscaping. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote and get 25% off their mosquito program. I need that one. I've been bit a few times.
I have too.
Yeah, it's weird for early this summer.
Right.
That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Maybe that's what happens when it's 70 degrees in February.
Yeah.
That's why you need that
Global
mosquito
warming,
control.
am I right?
Exactly.
Stick to sports.
Yeah, don't get political, man.
Detroit forward Greg Eboig-Bowden has signed with the Fighting Illini. This signing gives the Illini a big man. Eboig-Bowden is a 2-star, 6'9" forward. He had offers from Pitt and Loyola and was a UIC recruit. Cam Johnson, a Pitt transfer, has made a decision where he will be continuing his college education, and that will be at North Carolina. Illinois was interested in him. Illinois basketball will start a home-and-home series with UNLV starting this upcoming season in Las Vegas. The return game will happen during the 2018-19 season. In other scheduling news, this one is for Illinois football. The Ball State game will be an 11 a.m. kickoff. The Western Kentucky game is at 7 p.m. The Illini will now have 3 straight primetime games this season. The Preds beat the Penguins 4-1, 2 goals for the Preds in the second period. The series is tied 2 games apiece now. The series will head to Pittsburgh for Game 5. The St. Louis Cardinals have fallen to their 4th straight game in which they've had the lead. Last night they fell to the Reds 4-2. The Reds had a 4-run 7th inning. Carlos Martinez gave up all 4 runs. The Cards play the Redlegs tonight at 6:10. It's Waino versus Edelman. The Cubs are on a different streak. They won 4 straight games, the 4th being against Miami 3-1. Brighton hit a 2-run bomb, and Almora hit a solo blast. The Cubs look to fillet the fish again tonight. It's Jake Arrieta taking on Jeff Locke. And the White Sox and Rays, it is Quintana versus Archer.
Nobody cares about the White Sox. Oh.
Care about the Charlotte Knights.
Right. Hey, summer means pools, picnics, and relaxation. It's also the perfect time for a mid-year financial checkup. If you've fallen behind on your goals, Busey can help you get back on track with a few tips from their experts. How about Rethink Big Goals? Financial assessments and the Resource Center on Busey.com are great tools to see if you're on track for saving for retirement, college, and major purchases. Have you been sticking to a budget? Well, review and ensure you're not overextending yourself. Yeah. Make changes if you think you can pay more and cut back if needed. Finance Works, that's what it's called. Finance Works puts money management at your fingertips and your financial goals within reach. Access it within Busey eBank. Whatever your financial goal, Busey can help, from retirement planning to funding your child's college education, from buying your first home to expanding your business, from creating an investment to setting up a 401k for your employees. Enjoy your summer free from financial worries. To work towards achieving your financial goals today, visit Busey.com or stop by one of their many convenient locations. Busey, member FDIC.
People always told me, be careful what you do.
Random?
Yeah, baby. I thought you'd like a little Soundgarden coming out. It is kind of hard, though, when you got singing in there.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to go with like a upbeat one.
Oh, yeah, I could go. Let's go with some strength there.
There you go. Come on, Illinois got a commitment.
Oh, yeah.
Champaign Central's going to state.
And I called them the Chargers, and Coach is going to yell at me right now. Why did I just do that?
Heck of a game, though, last night. 3 home runs, 11 runs in the final 2 innings.
Wow.
As Champaign Central gets a 13-6 win against Mascoutah. They move on to the Final 4, the Class 3A at Joliet. They'll take on Chicago Heights, 10 a.m. on Friday.
Okay, and joining us now is Central baseball coach John Staub. Coach, how are you, my friend?
Pretty good, Lon. How are you?
We are great, buddy. And congratulations, first of all, on a run that is made now to the state. And it's interesting because Jeremy and I were just going through at the break your record the last couple of years, 35-3, 32-5, now 28-10. Nothing to shake a stick at, but this is the team that makes state. How has this happened?
Well, as I've been telling, first of all, guys, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And, it's a team effort. I mean, I don't know where to begin other than with that. And, we got a 20-man roster, a manager,
Wow.
We've got 10 coaches. I got a booster club that works very hard and an athletic director that works very hard. And so, it's a collective effort, no doubt, to get to this point. So very appreciative of the small part I play in it. We have had a string of talent come through, there's no question. And a lot of people kind of wrote off this current senior class because, there's just not the D1 talent there that we've had in the past. But
right.
These guys, they just don't quit, and they believe in themselves. They're playing confident, and they're just playing good baseball.
Coach, we always talk about that intangible factor, and we can never really point our finger at it. There's no quantitative analysis of what it actually is, but how has it impacted this team?
Well, I mean, just the ability to believe in themselves and the fact that they're going to get it done. I mean, of our 5 postseason wins, 4 we've come from behind.
Wow.
And quite frankly, in our first game, regional semifinal, Mattoon had us beat. I mean, with 2 outs, if they make a play, we're done. Instead, they had throwing error. We scored 2 runs to tie it with 2 outs in the 7th, and then we win a walk-off in the 8th. So, I mean, I guess that kind of set the tone. We've got, again, a group of kids that even last night we're down 6-0, and we got some seniors in there. I distinctly remember Jake Beasley coming in saying, "Hey guys, let's go, just chip away, we'll get them." So, it's that mindset that certainly has paid off for us here in the postseason run.
You mentioned a guy like Jake Beasley who's been around this program, and he's seen the last couple of years when you guys had excellent seasons and just couldn't quite get over that hump. I assume, kind of like Jeremy's talking intangibles, one of those would be the fact that these kids that are now juniors and seniors, they were on these squads, and they saw how tough it was to advance. And I don't know that you can necessarily learn and say, oh, okay, well, we're going to do this now in 2 years, and that'll get us there. But I think that does make an impact with regards to settling kids down and understanding, hey, we've been here before. We've seen this.
Oh, no doubt, Lon. I mean, when we lost in 2014 at SHG, they went on to get second in state. When we lost last year in the sectional at Springfield to Springfield, they went on to get second in state.
Wow.
And, so over the years we've come very close, but we've also been beaten by some very good teams, by some Hall of Fame coaches. And just our run this year, I think that certainly has played a role in shaping these current class of seniors and juniors. They've been a little battle tested, or they've seen and been taught by the older kids, and it's paid off. We've had a tough run this year. We had to go to Mount Zion, and they had a hell of a team, and we won on their field, coming from behind. We go over to Chatham and have to beat SHG and Chatham on their diamond against Reed Detmers, the Louisville recruit, and then last night fall behind 6-0 in the middle of the game in Muscuda against a good Muscuda team and came back. So, how much those years of near misses played a part? Yeah, that's probably the case. But having said that, this is a brand new group of kids,
sure.
A brand new season, and they played with a chip on their shoulder all year. And they're just a group that's not going to be denied.
I know Zach Hartwell has a nice influence in his life, and Dan, but a lot of these kids played for Lon Tay. I mean, how much do they rave about his coaching, or how much did you have to weed that out of them?
There's not a practice that comes up when one of the boys doesn't mention something that Lon.
Oh no! All right. No, wait. He taught you how to turn a double play like that? What in the world? Well, I can.
All kidding aside, I mean, these kids have all played a lot of baseball.
Sure.
They've played a lot of travel baseball and a lot of high caliber baseball. So certainly that all plays a part. In many ways, they've been in these situations before, and they're not awed by anybody.
Right.
So that plays a part. Yep.
We are visiting with Central Baseball coach John Staub. Let's look ahead, Coach, to Friday when you're playing a squad that just won 10-0 in a super sectional. I know you can't take that into account. You don't know who had their number one pitcher, who didn't, et cetera. Baseball's got so many funny things, but what can you expect on Friday?
Well, I tell you, I'm still kind of in yesterday mode. We didn't get back till midnight. And I was up at 6 o'clock with John Woods this morning, kind of mapping out a game plan for the week.
Wow.
Taught summer school today. Had an interview right after summer school. Trying to get ready for end of the year banquet on Monday. Talking to Joel Beasley, my booster president. It's just been kind of one thing after another today. And so I haven't had a chance to really look at Marian Catholic. I do know they're playing a very difficult, tough conference.
Sure.
They won the state title in 2012. They play, a killer schedule. And so, we expect another stern test. But, as I've talked about some of the teams we've beaten here, obviously in the postseason and the Big 12 conference, I mean, it's a very good conference, downstate Illinois, a lot of good coaches and good teams. So we feel like we're battle tested and we'll be ready to go.
Coach, I always ask this when you're going to these kind of events.
Mm-hmm.
You get to this stage, you want to enjoy it as much as possible, but you also want to make it business as usual. How do you balance the two?
That's a great question.
Well, we're going to have practice here at 5:30. We're going to get kids out there and get on the field. We're not going to change a lot of what we do and what we have done during the postseason, and try to minimize some of the distractions. We'll have some reporters out at our next couple practices, and of course, with all the publicity kind of amping up, the closer we get to Joliet, that's it's a good problem, to be quite honest. I think it's a lot of fun. The kids are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I know our staff is, and Maroon Nation is. My phone was blowing up, and all night last night and today. And we try to tell the kids often, you're not alone. You're not alone. There are hundreds, thousands of people in the state and even in the country whom you don't even know who are pulling for you.
Right.
And so, this is a relaxed group. It's sometimes a little more relaxed than I would like, but when the popcorn starts popping, they're ready to go. So, we'll keep it as businesslike as we can with the added hype.
I love it, and I'll tell you what, and I don't mean to bring Centennial up, but it's been fun the last 2, 3, 4 years watching Centennial and Central have just top-of-the-line baseball programs, and the joy that you've brought us in the spring has been outstanding. And Coach Staub now moving on to the state. That's going to be awesome. We'll be watching Friday, buddy. Hopefully we'll get a championship out of you, and we'll talk to you next week. How about that?
Hey, that would be great, guys. And again, thanks for all you do, and go Maroons.
All right, buddy. John Staub, great stuff. Central baseball coach. That squad moving on to Friday against Marian Catholic. That just sounds like a tough team. Marian Catholic.
That's where Cam Thomas played football. Their football team wasn't very good.
Okay.
But
their baseball team must be.
Obviously a Catholic school.
Right.
So they're pulling in some talent there.
That'll be cool. That'll be cool to see. I know we joked about me, but it was so cool to see these kids at a young age, and I didn't have anything to do with this. But it's so cool to watch because you could tell these kids at that age how serious they were about baseball.
When did the club thing boom? Because is this the product of that?
I think so. I honestly do.
Because I remember I did a story for the News Gazette about 10 years ago about the club scene here, baseball-wise, and how big it was getting, and those kids would have been about 7, 8, 9 years old when that was really
I'll be honest. I hesitate talking about it because I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like the travel ball, and I get it. And I've now had one son that did it, and I've got another son that wants nothing to do with it.
Right.
And I see the impact it has on Little League, on Farm League, or what minors, majors.
I did not like club. It made it not fun to me.
Absolutely.
There were too many games, and it made it like a job to me sometimes.
And a lot of people will say, you're burning your kids out, this and that. Well, you've got an example here with Centennial and Central. These kids that play on these teams the last 3-4 years, all those kids were Champaign Tribe, Champaign Dream. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
as long as there's a balance there.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not trying to put it down for club. I didn't enjoy that experience, but if I was really good at baseball, I probably would have loved it. But if you're expecting every kid to get a Division I high major scholarship offer, but if that's what you love to do and your family loves that kind of lifestyle during the summers, then it's awesome.
Jeff Finke had a lot to do with that. He helped develop the Tribe, and then the Dream, of course, on the other end. Had a lot to those two teams battled every year, and they were great. And the thing that I'm always more proud of is when you look at, and some of these kids like Cade Sestak, I didn't coach him, and Jake Beasley, they were always a year older than my son, but I was around that program when they were there. And it's one of those situations where a lot of these kids, Cam Robinson, a lot of these kids, you know what they are? They're dual They're dual sport guys, and that's what I love about it. They're good at other sports.
Well, I know Illinois football loves kids who play multiple sports.
I love it too.
The injury factor, you have different kinds of athleticism, different kinds of training that get you ready. Then you can focus on it, later on, maybe in your high school career, but really when you just get to college.
And the other thing, and I'll speak to this, and this is it, and I know this is for everybody. St. Joe's got the same thing, everybody, but these are really good kids. They're really good kids, and that's what's fun. Tommy Krause, kind of an honorary one, but other than that,
singling one out.
I love that one. But really, I mean, it's a great group, and I'm happy for them. And it's too bad that Centennial couldn't quite get over that hump with the teams they've had the last 3-4 years. But Central has, and that's cool. And it'll be fun to watch them. It'll be tough. Be tough to get there, to do some damage there. But it's fun that they're there.
Illinois basketball gets a commitment from Greg Eboig Bowden, 6'9", 220.
Ebo.
He's taller than Brad Underwood.
Oh, that's right.
So that is a very good sign.
That is a bonus. We will talk about that when we return. If you've got to weigh in, or if you got to, do it. If you want to, you can at 359-2255. May is the correct grammar. It is the Tay and J Show.
Eat, shop, play, and explore. Rediscover Campus Town. Every Thursday now through August 17th during 13 Thursdays. Summer's finally here and we're loving the specials in Campus Town. You can find great deals on clothing, accessories, and food each Thursday during 13 Thursdays at participating businesses. Save big this summer when you shop and eat your way through Campus Town. And enjoy 1 hour free parking at the campus parking deck located on 6th and Healy each and every Thursday. Visit ChampagneCenter.com. 13 Thursdays is presented by the Champagne Center Partnership.
Matthew 28:18-20 states, Then Jesus came to them and said, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teach them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Jesus charges us to spread his message to all ends of the earth. How are you spreading his message? Support local and international ministries and get involved. This message brought to you by the Blossom Basket Floor.
So I'm chatting with Dan from Champagne Surplus. You're changing how you do business in a really groundbreaking way. You're taking price match to a whole new level. So tell me about that.
We've had price match in our store for a while now, and what we found is that a lot of people don't want to actually ask for the price match. And what we've done is we will just automatically check the internet for you. Our associates are walking around with devices where they can scan the internet, and we'll find the lowest price that we can for you, and that's what we'll sell it to you for.
Now, what if I find a lower price online?
We're happy to honor that as well.
So if you or I find a price that's lower than the manufacturer's price, I'm going to get that price, period. If there's a sale somewhere else, there's a sale for me at Champagne Surplus.
Absolutely. And you'll find that price, you'll get that price, and you'll be able to walk out with your item that day.
So how long does it take for us to find the best price for me?
No longer than a normal shopping trip.
I'm going to get the lowest price online. You're going to find it for me instantly.
Yes.
If I find something myself that's lower than what you find, you'll give it to me.
Yes.
And best of all, I'm supporting a small business that's been in our community for 70 years.
Yes.
So at Champagne Surplus, any sale is their sale. Check it out today in downtown Champaign.
From buyers and sellers inspections before the sale, protect your future with AA Marshall Home Inspection Services. We also provide radon testing with results back in 48 hours. From Champaign to Savoy and Gifford to Gibson City, protect your future with AA Marshall Home Inspection Services. Get more details and schedule your inspection today at aamarshall.net.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. For a limited time, Lands is offering special financing for 6 years or up to $1,000 trade-in allowance. Your choice, with approved credit on any qualifying train system. So call Lands at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR for details or find us online at landsinc.com. And remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands or visit train.com for complete program eligibility dates, details, and restrictions.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy. Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
So did we determine that 6'4" is the ideal height for a guy?
Because we were talking about how Boyd Bowden is taller than Underwood. And Underwood's about 6'4".
Yeah, he's a pretty tall guy. Then we start talking about Whitman.
He's a basketball player. All those guys on staff. I mean, Jamal Walker's not a very short guy.
No.
He's very short on the staff.
He's probably 6'2".
Because Antigua's 6'7".
Right.
I mean, Walker's probably 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah.
Coleman's about
Coleman's
6'4",
tall.
6'5". And Robert 6'4"-ish.
Isn't that
6'3"-ish.
unbelievable?
Yeah.
And
So-
Whitman, we think Whitman's 6'5"?
Yeah, I'd say in shoes he's 6'5".
I had to tell the interns about the time I had to take him to the ground.
Yeah.
He got a little lippy. And I'm like, Josh, don't make me do this.
I thought that question was out of line. And I goes, well, listen here.
You know what? I did tell Josh I would never tell that story on the air. So let me apologize. No, that never happened, by the way. No thanks.
Or
That
did
guy
it?
one hand would crush me. But it is funny. So I asked everybody in the room, what's the ideal height?
Yeah.
And somebody said 6'2". I'm like, no. I want to be like 6'4".
6'2" wouldn't be bad.
No.
As a 5'9" average American male, I would take 6'2" in an instant.
I would take another inch. To 6'2", I mean. That's exactly what I meant.
My brother is 6'5".
Yeah, does he think he's too tall?
I think it's awesome when you're young.
Yeah.
Then you get a little older.
Yeah.
And the practicality of the knees start hurting.
Right.
You know, cars, planes, all those things.
That's the problem. I mean, I'm 6'1", and when I get into a plane, it seems like after about an hour, I'm just like so uncomfortable. I can't stretch out.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a me problem. I don't know. But I have a buddy, Rick Shipley, played basketball at Southern. He's 6'8". He basically had to drive from the back seat of his car. He would lean his car all the way back because he had to, and he just didn't have the room. And I'm like, Rick, how do you even get on a
I would
flight?
definitely not want to be, unless I'm really good at sports. Like, if you're not good at sports,
Then what is the point?
what is the point of being that
Right.
tall?
Unless females just love tall.
And in certain sports, you can't be good being that
No.
tall. I mean, 7-foot football players, you don't see them.
No, you don't.
Right? So
You
you
don't.
better be good at basketball.
Right. And usually those are the guys that don't like basketball as much as a guard.
Right.
We talk about that all the time. All right.
So I would say
6'4".
6'4", 6'5".
I like that.
Because you can be good at a lot of sports.
Yep.
If you're in that height range. Because, I mean, soccer, some of the tallest guys are probably 6'4", 6'5". Goalies are, usually a little bit taller.
Every sport is just so much bigger now.
Who's the tall Boston Bruin?
Not Tuukka Rask.
6'7" defenseman. He looks so strange playing hockey.
He really does.
But I mean, there's a lot of 6'4", 6'5". What's Hossa? 6'4"?
Yeah, he's tall. Chris Pronger was tall when he played. The kid for Boston's 6'10", by the way. I think the Bruins.
Is he?
I think the defenseman's like 6. Can we effort this? Because I cannot
Harry.
think of his name.
Harry, who's the tall Boston Bruin?
And it's driving me stinking nuts
Harry's
right now.
got it.
Zdeno Chara.
There it is.
Yeah, is he like he's like 6'8", 6'9"?
I think he's like 6'10".
Or 6'10". It's amazing.
By the way, Harry.
Oh yeah,
we got a series.
We certainly do.
Harry's like, yes, give me that.
Hey, hold on one second. Just let it breathe for a minute. All right, we're not going into that, but we do have a series. How about the domination that Nashville showed at home? Coming home down 2-0, they dominated those two games.
To think there was even a conversation that Rene wasn't going to be in net in Game 3 was absurd now in retrospect. But there's something about Nashville playing at home. They've lost one game at home so far in the playoffs. It's absurd.
Cliff from Urbana, our buddy, has been to a game down there. And all along, and you heard a lot of the NHL announcers who you respect. In other words, they're not going to throw something out just to sound good. Yeah. They said that is the loudest arena or stadium, however you want to say it, in the NHL.
And they've been crazy crowds for a while now. I mean, those Predators fans have been into that. Now the whole city is behind it, too.
Yeah, this is the first season that they've had any real success. Clearly, most successful season by far. But yeah, even just watching it on TV, it kind of has that feel, the uniform color, which all the other stadiums have. But when it's something so obnoxiously loud, like a bright yellow surrounding the stadium, you can tell those guys get into it.
It's like when Seattle Seahawks have their neon green out.
Yeah,
right?
It's disgusting, but it works.
It's exactly right.
So what's changed? Is it just the home ice? Or?
I think a lot of it is the home ice, because when you look at this series, it's the weirdest. It's a 2-2 series that not one game has really been that close.
No, it hasn't.
Game 1 was the closest, and that one got away from the Predators at the end. Game 2 was close through the first two periods, and since then, 3-goal win, 4-goal win, 3-goal win. I think that it's going to be a little closer. I think Pittsburgh's going to win the series still.
Okay.
But yeah.
Was that Sid, that breakaway, was that his first goal since like 2009? In the playoffs, in other words?
Not in the playoffs.
Or, I mean, maybe.
In the cup?
In the cup, maybe? Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's the stat I read.
I mean, they've only
like,
been in one.
Yeah, I'm like, surely that's not a stat. I mean, he's scored in the playoffs.
Pecorine, by the way, 6'5".
Yeah, he's tall.
So right now,
goalies are really big. Goalies can be
Hasek
really
wasn't.
Big.
Dominic, I don't think
like,
so.
What, 5'10"?
Hasek was just really acrobatic.
Right.
Yeah.
Probably the most physically gifted.
Well,
goalie
us older guys, we just weren't very tall.
So, Harry, we got a series reset. Who you got? 3 games left.
I think it's going to be the Penguins in 7 because you heard Emmerich say it last night. You should never be worried until you lose a home game.
Yeah.
And I think the home team is going to win this each time.
Okay.
I think that the Penguins are going to rebound. They're not going to lose 3 in a row. You have Crosby and Malkin. You're not going to lose 3 in a row.
You better not go down to You better not go to Nashville down 3-2.
If they lose this game, it's not getting back.
I agree with
Pittsburgh.
you. I agree. I think that home ice has been unbelievable.
Thanks,
Harry, thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Well done.
I hope LeBron and the Cavs can do that in the NBA.
Yeah.
Let's have a series, huh? I don't know how you beat them.
I don't either.
I don't know how you beat the Warriors.
Especially when you watch those first 2 games.
4 out of 5 times. Or even 3 out of 5 times.
Does home court...
Yes, I mean, Cleveland will be amped.
It'll be amped. And
they just need... besides LeBron and Kevin Love...
Yes.
I mean, Kyrie's got to go off.
He does.
J.R. Smith has to make a shot.
Somebody needs to do
something
something
Williams
else.
and Kyle Korver.
Yes.
You got to do something.
I think that's where... And this is not my thought. Somebody on ESPN today said this. That playing at home should help those role players a little more. Get them juiced up, get them ready to roll. Maybe somebody have an impact.
I wonder if they
Tristan
have this.
Thompson, somebody.
I wonder if they have this. How do you do this?
I would.
Because you have to force turnovers, play unbelievable defense just to hold them under 120, 115, right? And you need
That's
them.
unreal.
You need them to miss open shots.
Yeah.
That's really hard to do with a Warriors team, and to do it at 2 times out of 5 left. I mean, this Warriors team is just loaded.
What would you do? What would you do to stop this team?
Pray.
I mean, really, what else can you do when you have 3 high-level scores?
Because Clay can have an off night, and Draymond can have an off night.
Yeah.
And you could still got to beat Steph and Kevin Durant.
I mean, do you consider Draymond a high-level scorer? No. It'd be
can
Clay,
be.
Steph, and Kevin.
I mean, Draymond Green can average. I mean, he can go off for 20 or 30 in the night.
And then, oh, by the way, you've got Draymond who can do that. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what they can throw at you, and that's tough. All right, the Cardinals, you'll hear it tonight with regards to Adam Wainwright, Tim Adelman. That's a 5:15. We're off the air. You brought up that Ken Rosenthal brought up a name.
Yes, we are going to talk with Derek Piper, by the way, at the start of next hour, 5:05. So we'll get out of here a little early for Cardinals
big
Reds.
time's coming on.
But we'll talk with Derek Piper at 5:05 to get his thoughts on Greg Eboig Bowden. Ken Rosenthal, I think he's just speculating on this name.
Right.
But it's a name we've thrown out.
Yep.
Marcell Ozuna.
I like it.
Of the Miami Marlins.
I think he's signed through 2019. So he's not a guy, not a Jason Hayward, in other words, that could come in and for 1 year.
So you'd have him for what, 2.5 years?
2.5 years.
Marcell Ozuna last year hit 23 homers, 266 average, 321 on base, 452 slugging. This year at age 26, has 14 homers, 40 RBI, 329 batting average, 392 OBP, 569 slugging. He's developing into an all-star.
Yes, you are.
He's 26. He's got pop in that bat. He hits for a decent average. I think his average will probably come down to 270-ish.
Okay.
But that's the kind of hitter that I think they need.
He would be a threat.
And he's a longer-term guy.
Yes.
There are a couple possibilities the Cardinals could do. They could make a move for Marcell Ozuna, who's going to be costly.
Right. I
mean, it'd probably cost you. You guys don't mind throwing in Grichuk, but that's a major leaguer that the Marlins can just have on their team.
Absolutely.
But then
he's
it probably,
down in Florida right now, so you could take a quick cab.
Then you'd probably put in Harrison Bader.
Yep.
And a guy like Dakota Hudson.
Yeah, you'd have to.
I mean, and maybe another guy.
I think you could get away without getting rid of your catcher of the future, Carson Kelly.
Yes.
But in Ozuna, now other guys you'd have to get rid of Kelly probably, but I agree, and I would do that. I would do exactly what you're talking about.
There might be another guy involved there too, but that might be worth it for a guy you have the next 2.5 years. You could sign him, or do you go in free agency and throw a bunch of money at 30-year-old JD Martinez?
I think
where you don't have to give up any prospects.
I think that even though Mozeliak normally would do the latter, I think he would prefer to do the former in this one, and that's Ozuna. I think he would prefer in this situation to do that. But we'll see. We'll see. It'll be just get a win. That kind of solves a lot of things. You got your
Ace Wainwright.
You got your Waino man on the hill.
Derek Piper, Illini Inquirer, coming up next.
Did I tell you that I know Derek Piper?
Yeah, you did.
He's a pretty cool guy, you know.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals. A nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
There's nothing better than real Texas barbecue, and no better place to get it than Hickory River Smokehouse. Every cut of beef brisket, pork shoulder, turkey breast, pork loin, and chicken are carefully selected and rubbed with a signature spice blend, infused with hickory smoke for a juicy award-winning flavor, and served up right here in Central Illinois for over 20 years. How about a taste as big as Texas for lunch, dinner, your next get-together, or to watch the big game? You're guaranteed to be the fan favorite. HickoryRiver.com or on North Cunningham in Urbana.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Life is full of twists and turns. You can't see the unknown, but you can certainly prepare for it. Pekin Life Insurance Company offers a variety of term and whole life insurance policies that are designed to meet the needs of individuals and their families. Options include transitional life, universal life, preferred whole life, family term life, and many others. Visit PekinInsurance.com or ask your local Pekin Insurance agent about an affordable, beyond the expected life insurance policy that's right for you.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
The president talks taxes. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News. President Trump with a prediction about his tax reform plan.
It'll be the biggest tax cut in our country's history, and it will spur business like never before.
The president at a meeting with Republican leaders also stressing the urgency of repealing Obamacare after another major insurer, Anthem, announced it will stop selling individual plans in Ohio next year. Democratic leaders blame the Trump administration for the collapse of Obamacare.
Abandon repeal, stop sabotaging our health care system, and you'll find Democrats waiting to work with you to improve the healthcare system.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Another terror attack in Europe. A man with a hammer lunged at police outside Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Authorities say he shouted, "This is for Syria."
The attacker is now known to be an Algerian man who told police he was a soldier of the caliphate. He wounded one officer in the head before being shot in the legs by armed police who patrol major tourist sites in the French capital. He remains alive, and prosecutors have opened a terrorism investigation.
Fox's Benjamin Hall. The man was also carrying a bag filled with knives. A third suspect is identified in the terror attack on London Bridge.
He is 22-year-old London restaurant worker Yusuf Zagba. His name was first made public by an Italian newspaper. Zagba reportedly had a Moroccan father and an Italian mother who converted to Islam. According to a published report, last year he was stopped by Italian authorities at an airport in Bologna. He had a ticket to Turkey and planned to travel on to Syria.
Fox's David Lee Miller. Police in London say Zagba was not on their radar. Stocks closed lower, the Dow dropping 47 points, S&P slipping 6 points, NASDAQ down 20. Fox News, fair and balanced.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Geico presents a voicemail from your friend Bicycle.
Hello, it's your bike here. So about last night, sorry I kind of just ran off with that bike thief. I just want you to know it's not anything you did. And I'm not trying to make excuses here, but I do have wheels. They roll. Anyway, hope you're insured. Also, your stolen grill says hey.
When your stuff runs off, it doesn't pay you back. Luckily, the Geico Insurance Agency makes getting coverage a snap. Visit geico.com to see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long.
You fooled me with the early on.
I told you.
I know you did, but then I had to go pay a bill.
Okay.
I'm giving to charities and stuff, man. I'm doing the right thing for the community.
Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight, a low of 51 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 80, low 58. Friday, could have some thunderstorms, high 83, low 60. Right now, 77 and sunny in Champaign-Urbana.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Jeremy Warner. We got you till about 5:15. Cardinal baseball, Adam Wainwright, and Tim Adelman.
Let's get to the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line before we get out of here. See, we're trying to give you as great radio as we can. We talked about, Juan, what's his name?
Greg Boyd Bowden.
That is correct.
Okay,
I believe so. We'll ask Derek if that pronunciation is right. But joining us on the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line, don't forget half off large pizzas all day Tuesday at Jupiter's The Crossing. Derek, is that right? Greg Boyd Bowden? Did we ask him his pronunciation?
That is correct. Boyd Bowden.
All right.
Nice.
All right. So you just chatted with Boyd Bowden, commits to Illinois. What do you have to say?
Man, he's really excited, and I know the staff is really excited as well. And it was kind of an opportunity that he was sitting there waiting for. I know it was about 6 weeks ago. He told me that he requested his release from UIC, and obviously he knew then that Chin Coleman was going to Illinois. And he said about 2 weeks ago the staff hit him up and asked him to come visit, and he didn't really hesitate. He said since then he's been going on YouTube and watching a bunch of OK State and SF Austin clips, really in love with Brad Underwood and his system. His style of play really fits the way his game operates in terms of being mobile and long and a rim runner up and down the floor. So he's really excited for the opportunity to play in the Big Ten, to come in and have some early opportunity. And they talked a lot about how they want to develop him, and obviously that's a skill that Underwood has. And once they, physically develop him and then season him a little bit more, it's a guy that's only been playing 3 years of competitive basketball. They really feel like this is a good gift for them, especially this late.
Derek, and not only on the heels of what you just said, a kid that's played competitively, basically basketball for 3 years, played a lot of soccer growing up, that he's going to come into Illinois and he's going to have a chance probably to get minutes early. I mean, you look at him, is this a kid you think that can give Illinois 8 to 10 minutes?
I think so. I think that's what the staff has said. He's going to get that opportunity. I've talked quite a bit with his high school coach, and he said from a rebounding defensive standpoint, he's going to be ready to play.
Okay.
He's a really, really talented rebounder, averaged about 14 rebounds per game last season in high school. Led a team in blocks with over 2 per game, really long arms. He just plays with a super high motor, plays really, really hard. Maybe not an elite athlete, but a pretty good athlete. Got some bounce to him. So I think in this system, in terms of how hard Underwood's going to want his guys to play and knowing the front court and it's not super deep, this helps there. And he's a guy that's going to find his way onto the court. And if he produces, I think that he could, maybe, 8 to 10. That'd be nice for him.
Yeah, it seemed like you said Pitt came in with an offer here late. Purdue was showing a lot of interest. So I know he's just a 2-star recruit, but he's a Power 5 prospect. I mean, he's a legit Power 5 prospect. What did we learn about what Underwood wants in a big man?
Yeah, I think he's maybe not looking traditional spot up on the block post. Obviously, your non-traditional fives are guys you're going to look at. You're going to want some athletes, some guys that can play really, really hard for longer periods of time. Some some guys that can step out and maybe hit a mid-range jumper, and that's something that Boyd Bowden's going to be able to develop with his game. You see that in some clips of his. He just needs to become more consistent with it. But guys that really hit the glass hard, I know that's something that his teams have always done well. Ability to come out and set the high ball screen and then roll to the rim, and then also be good defensively. So I think those are some of your characteristics you're seeing, obviously, with him, and it's kind of a blessing that a guy like this is available right now with less than a week before classes start.
Derek, let me play the skeptic here. You get a guy that's maybe a 2-star, a kid that maybe didn't have a lot of looks. You had UIC. You might have fans saying, well, listen, he was going to sign with UIC. It's a late decision. He's taken up a scholarship for 4 years. What if I come at you at that angle? What would you say back to that?
Yeah, first off, with UIC, I mean, he signed in the fall, so this past high school season, I think he kind of realized that, maybe, and credit to UIC with Chin, that's one of the bigger reasons why he's here in Champaign now. Is they got some guys that were better than maybe they should have been at UIC, so they've had some good pieces there, and he was going to be another one of them, and then he had a really good senior season, and just the way his game's progressing, it took another season for him to be on the high school scene and really showed what he could do. He was a guy that played on the EYBL circuit. Wasn't really known that much, but he had some experience with Cassius Winston, with Miles Bridges, and I just think that as his game started to season a little bit more and he started to learn the game a little bit more, he was better than that. And all of a sudden, when he was available, Pitt was interested, Boston College was interested, Georgia Tech was interested, and then I'd heard, as late as last night that Purdue was trying to make a little bit of a late push, but Illinois had this guy in the back of their heads for a while now, and the connection with Chin, and they knew he was good enough, and as soon as Underwood saw him, that was about all she wrote.
Took about 7 minutes in the discussion about Boyd Bowden before Lon said, okay, what's next?
Come on, Derek.
So, Derek, what's next?
Oh, man. I don't think they would be opposed to taking another big guy, especially if it's the 5th year. Obviously now I think you're looking 5th year. You want to make sure that you have some spots for 2018. They're excited about their possibilities there. So if something else opens up there, I think that would be a route they would go. I know there was the name escapes me, but his first name is Dirk, and he was North Dakota. Big guy, grad transfer, just came out the last couple of days. Dirk Bernstein, yeah. And I think that's one that they're interested in. I think the look there. Cam Johnson was one that was kind of buzzed about a little bit under the radar. But now that he's committing to North Carolina, I think he's off the board. So not really a clear path right now. I know they still got open scholarships, but classes start, workouts start next week, and they are going to have 4 freshmen on campus.
They offered and hosted for a visit George Condit, a 2018 center. I mean, there's not a lot of top prospects in 2018, Derek, but, I mean, Condit, Finke, Taylor Horton-Tucker, and Ayo Dosunmu, obviously. That provides Illinois with an opportunity. What do you make of Condit? It's been a quick rise for him.
Yeah, it really has. He's blowing up, and Illinois was really excited that they could be the first high major offer for him. And they like his upside a lot. I know they told him, and I was talking to George after the visit and said the biggest word that was used the most was food. We want you to eat and eat a lot because we really like your skill set. We really like the fact that you've grown 3 inches over the last year, and now he's up to 6'10", and he's an ability to run and play above the rim as well, has some athleticism to him. He just needs to get stronger, needs to, advance physically, but as you mentioned before, he kind of has a little bit of DJ Wilson to him. Kind of looks like him with his hair as well when he was wearing the visor around the football camp on Saturday. But it's not a bad collection in 2018 when you think about those 4 with the way that he's rising up there. And obviously a really talented point guard in Ayo, good choice of wings and Tim and THT. And then, up there in Chicago being the first high major offer for George is good for Illinois for sure.
Derek, real quick, what'd you make of Mata leaving Ohio State?
I'm surprised by the timing. It wouldn't have surprised me if it would have came at the end of the season. I think that some fans will wish they could have gotten Archie. Obviously, if you're able to land Chris Mack, no one's going to say anything. Obviously, Chris Holtman would be a really nice add for them as well. But the reasoning, I think, Ohio State as a program just doesn't have the juice that it's had, and they lost pretty much their entire – was a 2015 class, Jaquan Lyle and all those guys they brought in, and they needed a change. Things were going down there, but I'm kind of surprised you don't really see coaching openings in June when you got guys reporting on campus. They have a really talented big guy in Caleb Wesson who's coming to campus next week, and he's not going to have a coach there to coach him. So kind of odd timing-wise. I get it, though. It'll be interesting to see who they get.
Derek Piper, he'll have quotes up from Ebo, is what Juan and I guess
I'm fine with that.
We'll call him. He'll have quotes up from Ebo at IlliniInquirer.com.
Ding, ding.
That is awesome. Derek, thanks, buddy.
No problem, guys.
Good stuff.
Thanks,
Derek Piper jumping on last minute. We pay big money for that. I hope everybody understands that. Look, it's a good deal. It's a good deal. I read Derek's story this morning, and he said he'd make a decision shortly. IlliniInquirer.com. And I thought, all right, well, what's shortly? Does that mean today? Does that mean this week? And boom, we found out today. So your Illinois basketball team has another big man inside, Greg Eboig Bowden.
And, it was handpicked.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it might be a 2-star, might not work out. I know some fans are skeptical of it.
Sure.
But Pitt offered, Georgia Tech, Purdue were really interested towards the end of this thing. And he seems like he fits exactly the mold of what this staff wants out of a big man. I don't expect greatness next year.
Right.
All he's got to do is play a role.
Right.
Rebound, play defense, play that role, and you can grow into a very, very good Big Ten player later on in your career.
Earlier in the show, I said I had a point and I'd forgotten. I just realized it'll be interesting to see because this is a kid that this coaching staff has now evaluated.
Yeah.
I wonder if the circumstances make you take a little bit of a reach now because of where you're at with regards to this year.
Very possible.
That's very possible.
But if he's a role player, and he contributes, that's worth a scholarship.
Then you're good to go.
You just can't have it be Ibby Jim Day,
right?
Or Devin Langford,
exactly,
where they never had any business coming here. But given the interest, I mean, Langford had no other high major interest, right? I mean, Jim Day didn't have any other high major interest.
That's the crazy stuff. All right, I want to thank our guest Ryan McGlade, BuckeyeSports.com. And Champaign Central baseball coach John Staub.
If you missed the show, get the podcast, ESPNCU.com, or find us on iTunes. All powered by GTPS Insurance.
Cardinals are next. Tay and J Show.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966, Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
Welcome to St. Louis Cardinals baseball. We get ready for Game 2 of a 4-game series in Cincinnati between the Cardinals and the Reds. The Redbirds handed the ball to Adam Wainwright tonight, looking to snap a 4-game losing streak. And Wainwright might be the man to do it. Hope you're having a great evening. Wainwright takes on Tim Adelman tonight, and we get ready for baseball. First pitch from Great American Ballpark with John Rooney and Rick Horton is 6:10. I'm Chris Raby at Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside Ballpark Village. Mike Anderson back at our Cardinals Network studios. Another frustrating loss for the Cardinals last night, 4-2, as they have now lost 13 games this year, the most in Major League Baseball, in which they've led by multiple runs, matching their total from last season. Cardinals 5 straight losses now, in which they've led by at least 2 runs, and they have lost 4 games in a row. Tonight, Adam Wainwright will try to make it 7 straight winning decisions. The Cardinals have won 7 of Wainwright's last 8 starts. He's been fantastic. That brings us to our Central Bank of St. Louis replay.
Swing and a miss on a curveball. That's the second strikeout for the Cardinal hurler, Adam Wainwright.
Just continues to kind of go on that great role, making quality pitches with everything. And I think he's lined up, arguably being the best hitting pitcher in the league.
And the 2-2 pitch. It's headed Adams' way. Swing and a home run. Get up, baby. Get up. Get up. Oh, yeah. Way out of here into left field. His second of the year. And the Cardinals lead it 2-0. And he touches them all for the second time this year and the 10th time in his career.
Adam Wainwright doing it on the mound and with the bat in his last start, but how about his last 4? 26 and a third innings, giving up just 1 earned run. That's a .34 ERA. Doing it against quality competition. The Chicago Cubs, the San Francisco Giants at Coors Field against the Colorado Rockies, and his last start at home against the Dodgers. Wainwright has been superb overall this year, 6-3, a 3.79 earned run average. He takes on Tim Edelman, the 29-year-old right-hander for the Cincinnati Reds, 3-2 with a 4.89 ERA on the year. All right, coming up on the Ameren pregame show, we're going to visit with Carson Kelly. The Cardinals minor league player of the month has been tearing it up at AAA Memphis. More from Greg Amsinger of MLB Network as he tries to put his finger on what the Cardinals could use in their lineup to take off. Mike Matheny visits with John Rooney. We get the game plan from Kyle McClellan and more from Mike Claiborne with Cardinals hitting coach John Mabry. We're getting ready for baseball. Cardinals and Reds, Wainwright and Edelman. Game 2 of a 4-game series in Cincinnati. And we're back with Carson Kelly and the Monsanto Farm Report next from Cardinals Nation Restaurant inside of Ballpark Village on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
The Urbana Business Association is excited to present the 4th annual Uncork Urbana Wine Festival on Saturday, June 10th. This year's festival is jam-packed with live local entertainment, wine basket raffles, amazing food trucks, and will feature Market at the Square's live cooking demonstrations from CU's finest chefs. And not to mention, we will have amazing Illinois wineries showcasing their remarkable wine. Grab your lawn chairs and blankets and join us at the beautiful Meadowbrook Park. For more information and to purchase tickets, make your way to the UBA or visit urbanabusiness.com.
Summer is here, and the car buying is easy, especially when you have the big 3 American automakers all in one place. Come to McFerrin Park in Hoopeston beginning on Monday, June 12th to see the entire inventory from Anthem, Chevrolet Buick, Ford of Hoopeston, and Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Hoopeston. Choose from hundreds of America's favorite cars in one easy-to-get-to location. Buick, Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, Jeep, and Ram, all in McFerrin Park on Route 1 in Hoopeston, June 12th through the 17th.
Hi, I'm Mike Carpenter from the Tay and J Show on ESPN 93.5, and for over 20 years, Simplified Computers has been helping local businesses and nonprofits with their computing and networking needs. Simplified Computers covers everything from servers, network security, cloud-based applications, wireless accessibility, computer support. In short, whatever technical issues your business runs into, the guys at Simplified Computers have seen it, and they can help. Call them at 352-5000. That's 352-5000. Simplified Computers. Simply the best.
Matthew 28:18-20 states, Then Jesus came to them and said, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Therefore, go and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and teach them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Jesus charges us to spread his message to all ends of the earth. How are you spreading his message? Support local and international ministries and get involved. This message brought to you by the Blossom Basket Floors.
Follow Cardinals Baseball live at the MLB.com at-bat mobile app. Stay connected to the game's best players all season long with Game Day, live game video, highlights, radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat today. It's your number one app for live baseball. For the Monsanto Farm Report, we head to rainy New Orleans, where Carson Kelly and company are waiting out the weather and getting ready to take on the New Orleans Baby Cakes tonight. It's 7 o'clock. Marco Gonzalez on the mound for the Redbirds, but Kelly named the Cardinals minor league player of the month yesterday after hitting .381 with a .474 on-base percentage. We visit with the AAA catcher and rising star in the Cardinals organization.
It's been a lot of fun so far. We've been playing really well, and getting hits here and there. And for me, it's just been and taking what I've learned the last couple of years and continuing to build and not look back. And that's something I really take to heart. And I'm going to continue to keep learning and having a lot of fun.
Learning is a key word because you've learned a new position, Carson, ever since joining the Cardinals and joining pro ball. At what point did you feel like you were able to figure out the right way to balance learning a new position defensively while also learning how to produce offensively in pro ball? Because either one of those would be incredibly daunting tasks, but to do them hand in hand while climbing through the ranks of an organization is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I think I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to do it, and that's kind of my motto is always take every day and learn something new. It's something that it's an ongoing process, and being able to have success, but also continue to learn, that's the best thing. And, I'm going to continue to have that goal and continue to be a great teammate as well.
How important was this spring, Carson, and how important were some of the opportunities this spring to work with some of the big league staff and just to get a lot of innings and a lot of at-bats because of some of the guys that were away for the World Baseball Classic?
It was great. It was a great opportunity for me because, in spring training, going up to big league camp and being with all those guys, and you learn a ton, and taking that information and applying it in game and getting a lot of reps during spring training. There's nothing more you can ask for to get ready for a season. And I really took that to heart, and that's where I'm at now. As you look back on the spring, you look back on the last couple of years, Carson, have there been important checkpoints for you? Have there been moments when, again, you said, like, all right, I feel like I've gotten to this point and now I can move forward? What have been some of the biggest moments for you as you've continued to climb and climb and climb? Well, for me, I take it day by day, and there's always something new to learn, and I make sure I have my routine, my set routine, follow that, and believe in that. And if I do those little details each and every day, I feel I'm prepared to play that night. So taking it day by day is the biggest thing, and those little details over a course of a long period of time has really got me to where I'm at today, because I'm a completely different player than I was, say, 2 or 3 years ago.
That's Carson Kelly, Cardinals Minor League Player of the Month. Farm Report brought to you by Monsanto, proud supporter of America's farmers. Tomorrow we'll continue our conversation with Carson and get his perspective on catching Luke Weaver's 11 strikeout game last night, plus some scouting reports on Marco Gonzalez, John Brebbia, Jack Flaherty, and more. But when we come back, Greg Amsinger, more from the MLB Network host as we talk putting a little punch into the Cardinals lineup. It's coming your way after this on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
Top athletes know the right nutrition can make all the difference. It's the same for many of the nation's top show dogs. They count on Purina Pro Plan. And with more than 100 formulas available, your pet can too. To get expert recommendations for your dog or cat, plus helpful tips, go to ProPlan.com/MyPlan. That's ProPlan.com/MyPlan. Purina Pro Plan. Nutrition that performs.
Hi, I'm Matt Carpenter.
And I'm Jed Jerko.
And I'm Jack. On the field, the power of the baseball can be tremendous, but that doesn't compare to the power of the baseball off the field.
That's right. And every time a home run is hit, it's making a difference in the lives of Cardinal Glennon kids.
Like me. All of the patients love to root on the Cardinals.
So remember, while a baseball can make or break a game, it can also change a life.
We hope you will join our Homers for Health team and help kids like Jack get back in the game.
Make your pledge today at Glennon.org. Presented by Heartland Coca-Cola.
When your car breaks down, you realize just how much you need it. And when it breaks down, Beaumont Alignment Plus steps up. For routine maintenance like brakes, oil changes, tune-ups, batteries, and tires, you can count on Beaumont Alignment Plus. Bigger issues including alignment, suspension work, starters, alternators, transmission requires specialists. So get to know Beaumont Alignment Plus for your vehicle repairs. With locations on Bloomington Road and Denison Drive in Champaign, you're never far from the help you need. It's good to know the quality service is still affordable at Beaumont Alignment Plus.
There's a time for work, there's a time for play. There's a time to do things you don't do every day. There's a place to go for tools and machines and people with knowledge about these things. We've been here since 53 to meet your rental needs. When the time comes, we're the place for everything. Rental City.
The ribeye has the best, the greatest steak in town.
If you're looking for Champaign-Urbana's great steak place, it's the Ribeye Restaurant. Still with their famous salad bar and their delicious seasoned fried shrimp and delicious grilled chicken entrees. The Ribeye Restaurant, 1701 South Neal Street in Champaign. For reservations, call 351-9115.
The ribeye is the best. We're the one, the great one steak place.
Guidance, trust,
protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Weekends Only's mission is to save you money. Come in this weekend for the biggest selection at the best prices on furniture and mattresses. Open Friday through Sunday and online at weekendsonly.com. Weekends Only is a proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals. We're hanging out at Cardinals Nation inside of Ballpark Village. Folks coming in to enjoy a little dinner and a little Cardinals baseball in Cincinnati. We open up the reporter's notebook and continue our conversation with Greg Amsinger of MLB Network. Yesterday, Greg said, in his opinion, the Cardinals need to consider making a move like the Mets did in 2015, adding Yoenis Cespedes at the deadline and taking off from there. A team that was just 2 games above 500 on July 31st ended 90-72. And Amsinger says that the Cardinals need someone that strikes fear into their opponents.
Anthony Rizzo has a presence. Chris Bryant is a giant of a man. All right, even Contreras, the catcher, walks around with swagger, and this kid swings so hard, everyone feels the breeze if he misses. Like, he's got tons of confidence. The Cardinals need that guy that's their wild horse. Yasiel Puig, you don't know what you're going to get, but my goodness, is their presence with him. Okay? I don't think the Dodgers trade with the St. Louis Cardinals, and I think they're worried that Puig would change uniforms and become a superstar. I think that could happen. But Marcell Ozuna, to me, could be that prime target for a club like the Cardinals. The Blue Jays players, I think the Blue Jays are still going to get a wild card. So I write that team off. I don't think the Chicago White Sox are going to trade away Jose Abreu. I think they hold on to him. I don't think Todd Frazier fixes anything for the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't think the Oakland A's part ways with Chris Davis. I think he's the only guy that the Cardinals would look at as got some value, but I don't even know if he would be the answer there for the Cardinals. The Phillies don't really have anyone. They're the only team that's out of it other than the Marlins. The Mets still think they're going to be good next year because of their starting pitching. And then you get the clubs in the Central I don't see a partner with. And the Giants don't have anyone that's going to give that presence to the St. Louis Cardinals. So when I hone in and I look around, I think Ozuna makes the most sense to me as a guy that's still young, still has upside, and could be the Cardinals' version of Yoenis Cespedes.
Does that kind of player make the Cardinals a contender in the division, contender for the wild card? How much does he change the landscape of this club if the starting pitching continues?
I think immediately he makes a contender for a wild card. But if everyone else can evolve, if Colton Wong can get back and healthy and continue to improve, maybe see more power, if Jed Jerko can keep this up, what he's been doing. If Aledmus Diaz can somehow find 2016 all over again, if Matt Carpenter becomes Matt Carpenter again, right? If things start to heal, the starting pitching's been way good. I mean, no one expected the league to have an ERA like this right now. Lance Lynn has been terrific. The last 4 starts for Adam Wainwright, all of a sudden he's back. I get it, he's not throwing 95 anymore, but insanely effective. And oh, by the way, Carlos Martinez, all of these quality starts in a row, and he is clear-cut the best pitcher the Cardinals have. Rosenthal's strikeouts and walks have been tremendous. Is still an effective closer, 13 of 15 saves. They had to cut Jonathan Broxton. It wasn't getting it done anymore. But this team still has enough pitching to make the run. In the immediate, I think a guy like Ozuna makes them a contender for the wild card. And once the Cardinals get in with that starting pitching, if they win that wild card game, anything could happen. For the long term, you're going to have another year of control with a player like this. I think he makes them a contender to win the Central against the Chicago Cubs next year. So, yes, I think there's a lot of positives, but you need a guy with that raw talent that you can't teach.
Greg Amsinger, you can catch him every night on MLB Tonight. Airs live 7 days a week. Plus, catch Greg on the MLB Draft exclusively on MLB Network on Monday at 5 o'clock Central. Best of luck with all the rest of the draft prep. Greg, we'll be watching. Always great to see you guys on MLB Network, and we'll chat again soon. Thanks so much for the time.
All right. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
When we come back, Mike Matheny talks about our UMB player to bank on.
There could be something to be said, John, about how the ball comes out of his hand while we're here in Cincinnati. But I also think when you get Adam on a good roll, he's going to be real effective no matter where he pitches.
The Manager's Chat is next on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
Okay, so you're driving a sport utility or crossover utility vehicle, and you like your utility without it being utilitarian. You should demand the same from your tires. The remarkable Cursor HSX Tour tire from Mastercraft, specially designed to look great, ride great, and perform even better. With a striking sidewall and tread design molded to an advanced silicon-fused tread compound for a breakthrough all-weather performance. The Cursor HSX Tour, only from Mastercraft.
Visit Trucks Deluxe today.
Hey Cardinal fans, Ozzie Smith here for Ameren, Illinois. Playing catch and wiffle ball are family traditions, but whether you're in the backyard or in your neighborhood, it's important to avoid electrical equipment. If a ball goes into a substation, leave it alone and call Ameren, Illinois. And always stay clear of the big green transformer boxes and any equipment marked with high voltage signs. A safety reminder from your friends at Ameren, Illinois. Energy at work.
Mosquitoes can be a nuisance, and after a mild winter like we had, they're even worse. Let Prairie View Landscaping get rid of those pesky mosquitoes so you can enjoy the summer outdoors without bugs getting in the way. And since it's Prairie View Landscaping's 25th year in business, they're celebrating by offering up to 25% off their mosquito program. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote. mypvdiscount@gmail.com. And if you sign up by May 31st, you can win 2 free mosquito control applications out of 4. Prairie View Landscaping, mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Power up with Tempur-Pedic at Illini Mattress. Now through June 11th, get your best night's sleep and save up to $600 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, interest-free financing for up to 60 months with approved credit. You heard right. That's 5 years with no interest at Illini Mattress. We also provide free delivery, setup, and removal, and a $300 gift with the purchase of your life-changing Tempur-Pedic sleep system. Offer ends June 11th, so hurry in. This sleep is power. Tempur-Pedic at Illini Mattress.
Hey, it's Stevie J. Have the roof your home deserves. For your next roofing project, why don't you go with Roof Doctors, a locally owned and family-operated business for over 25 years. They use superior materials. They're a certified shingle contractor, so they can offer a 50-year non-prorated full system warranty, and they won't loan your work out to subcontractors. Hey, Roof Doctors has worked on my home, and the results are fantastic. But don't just take it from me. With an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, Roof Doctors has plenty of satisfied customers. Get a free quote at roofdoctorsco.com.
Cardinals and Reds, Game 2 of the 4-game series tonight. Let's hear from the manager as we head back to Great American Ballpark. Mike Matheny with John Rooney, always presented by Webster University.
Well, Mike, tonight against the Reds, you have quite a bat in there, number 9 in the order.
Yeah, we're always happy to see when our pitchers can contribute, and Adam's been so good. Yeah, he's a dangerous hitter in any park, and the park here at Great American, the ball jumps, and he's got an opportunity to do some damage, but we just need our starting pitcher to continue to figure out ways to keep us in the game from the mound, and anything else we get on top of that's a bonus.
This game is so interesting, Mike, where Adam has done well in Colorado against the Rockies in a great hitter's ballpark, but he's 9-10 against the Reds, and maybe in a tidy little ballpark like this, it hurts Adam more than other places.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, and just I think I saw it more than any place else was with a knuckleballer, and there were different cities that the knuckleball would react differently, and when you see that, I think it gives you a better appreciation of how that might affect a slider or how that might affect a curve or a sinker, because there's something going on, whether it is humidity or whether it's whatever the pressure is that particular day, and in those particular stadiums and the way the ball flies, it affects certain pitches. And that there could be something to be said, John, about how the ball comes out of his hand while we're here in Cincinnati. But I also think when you get Adam on a good roll, he's going to be real effective no matter where he pitches.
But you're right, Mike. He's had some really good games against the Reds, and that says something when you've won 9 games against a team that, for the most part, during his career has been competing for a division title.
And a team that always plays us well. It never matters what their record is. I think there's, we spend so much time in our organization just knowing that rivalry that we have, that deep-seated rivalry with the Cubs. But I think there's more of it even from the Reds side about the St. Louis-Cincinnati matchup. And we've had a lot of tension, and, not that long ago, they're two of the teams to beat. And we see a team that's improved a great deal, a team with a lot of potential and a lot of thunder. They keep doing what they did to us last night. Almost every game you'll see, if they are down, they put on a push late because they have some very, very dangerous bats in that lineup.
What is it about the 7th and the 8th inning, Mike? I look out to see if there's a cloud rolling in or something, and it happened again last night.
Yeah, it's you wonder too, John, if that doesn't start to affect our guys too, and only the point where people are human. These guys are human in the fact that they start to see something over and over. You almost anticipate when we consistently talk about, don't let those negative thoughts creep in to where we start to doubt ourselves. But when you do see it, it's almost deja vu. And we've had so many of these games under control, and then the wheels fall off. I mean, you couldn't ask Carlos Martinez to be any better for those 6 innings. It was amazing how good he was. And then all of a sudden you have bunt base hit, ground ball base hit, walk, and we're in a mess. And his stuff was still really good. They made some adjustments, obviously, but it also just seemed like some things just started to roll against us. It's one of those periods I think is a real test for our club. The faith that we do have in ourselves, the faith that they have in the guy next to them, and we just have to have the mental capacity to not fall into exactly what you were talking about, to think, okay, something bad's going to happen here. We've got to continue to work to get better, to eliminate some of the mistakes, but in the meanwhile, we got to have a lot of belief that we can get the job done.
Paul DeYoung is going to play shortstop tonight. And I saw a lot of him in the spring, Mike, and he was very impressive wherever you put him, second, short, or third. But he really has shortstop range, doesn't he?
He's a ball player. It's just amazing the way he learns and how quick he picks things up. And the information we were getting from the development people and our AAA staff is that he was playing just as well at short as anywhere else. And he's been covering a lot of ground at second base. It's been fun to watch, and making great plays, getting to his feet now, making throws, and game-changing plays. So hopefully he can continue to show that from the shortstop position as we give Aledmys Diaz a day off.
Good luck, Mike. We'll talk tomorrow.
Thank you, John.
The Manager's Chat brought to you by Webster University. When we come back, the game plan with Kyle McClellan, his perspective on Adam Wainwright's run on the Cardinals Radio Network.
You're at the ballpark every day, crouching down, catching heat, all but invisible. Your job lacks fame and glory, but offers plenty of distracting aches and pains. That's the life of a bullpen catcher. You can't afford to lose focus. Neither can your team. So be prepared with ACE braces, supports, and elastic bandages. And don't be distracted by pain. ACE brand, proud sponsor of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Instead of cycling on and off like most heating and cooling systems, True Comfort variable speed by train runs at quiet speeds. Yes, it's hard to stop a train. Now, it's hard to hear one.
During our Weather Any Season sale now through June 15th, choose special financing for 60 months or a $1,000 trade-in allowance on a qualifying train system. Visit traininfo.com for complete program eligibility, dates, details, and restrictions. Subject to credit approval.
Awesome Machines Sales and Rental wants you to take charge of your yard with Toro. Toro has the quality you expect and dependability you deserve from your lawn equipment. Awesome Machines and Toro has the right machine to keep you inside and cool this summer season. With push mowers starting as low as $269 and zero turns starting as low as $22.99 with 0% financing available. Simply awesome. Awesome Machines Sales and Rental, Route 45 in Savoy, Route 36 in Tuscola, and online at awesomemachines.net.
At Body & Soul, they take pride in giving you the perfect fit for your athletic shoes. Their team of experts will help you in selecting the style that fits your purpose and your feet. Body and Soul has offered the best prices and best quality for more than 30 years. And they aren't just shoes. Whether it's walking, running, swimming, or biking, or whether it's for you or the whole team, visit Mike or Jed and their experienced staff at Body and Soul, Route 45 Savoy. Call 356-8926 or visit soulsports.com. Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Okay, you I Meet Sales Room theme song, take one. The Meat Boat. Soon we'll be grilling another steak. I'm pretty sure that's already been done before. Take two. I'll eat meat with you. I'll eat burgers and brats. Yet again, already been done before. Take three. Meat, 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 meat. Meat, 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 meat. The U of I Meat Sales Room on Maryland and Urbana. They may not have clever theme songs, but they do have the best meat in town.
Let's get the game plan with Kyle McClellan, who is first and foremost back from another trip to Haiti. Kyle, how was the trip? Your foundation, Brace for Impact, doing great work. We talked with Adam Wainwright last week about what he has done in Haiti and how you guys got started down there. How was the latest trip?
It was great, man. Our guys' trip was a blast. We helped build the house, worked with the Haitian construction crew, got to know them. One of the cool things, Adam and I, both our foundations doing work under the same umbrella down there, and both benefiting immensely from each other's work. And on the way to one of our places, we went by one of the water systems that Big League Impact has put in Adam's foundation. I snapped a picture of it real quick and sent it to him, and nobody was there on the way past it. On our way back, there was several people lined up getting water, and it's just great to see where the money's going and that the people in the community are benefiting from this. And so it was a great text exchange that me and him had while over there. But all in all, it was a really, really good trip and just re-energizes you to keep doing more for those people.
You can go to Brace for Impact 46 to learn more about what Kyle and his foundation are doing both in Haiti and here in St. Louis. Speaking of Adam Wainwright, it seems like every time we talk, Kyle, he turns around and puts together a better start. He's won 6 straight decisions. The team has won 7 of his last 8 starts, and over his last 4, 26 and a third innings, 1 earned run. What have you seen from Waino, and how have you seen him progress start to start this year?
Well, where's all the people that are talking about him being done? They're not. They've been quiet lately. he's been outstanding, and really, he's stopped throwing his cutter. That's, I think, been the biggest thing that people have talked about as much. He's still throwing it, but stopped throwing as much. And he's down in the zone. We talked about early on. Everything was belt high and up. He made some mechanical adjustments. He got it back down. He's on top of the ball now. His stuff is sharp, and his strikeouts are starting to climb. His walks are starting to decrease. And that's when Adam Wainwright's his best. So he has figured out mechanically where he needs to be. So it's not easy. Sometimes you get in these funks and it takes you a while to get out. All of spring training, he wasn't himself. First several starts, 5 or 6 starts, he wasn't. But now he's locked it in, and he's been outstanding. I'm
sure the Cardinals wouldn't mind if tonight in Cincinnati he's able to help them a little bit with the bat as well.
Well, that's I think the most frustrating thing about this team so far is when the starting pitching isn't exceptional. Not only just good, but exceptional. They don't win, and they have to, for them to go where they want to go, they have to win other ways. They have to win some games by defense. The offense has to step up, but they just haven't done that yet. They have really relied heavily on this starting rotation, and if this starting rotation isn't as good as they have been, they're not anywhere near where they're at right now. So they need a great start out of him, but they got to start putting together. Matt Carpenter has got to hit over 210. Steven Piscotty has got to start hitting better. In the defense, they continue to make some errors that they've been making over the last 2 years and on the base paths and things like that. They got to clean it up. The next 30 days will tell the story for this team. They will figure out where they're going to be this season here in the next 30 days.
Well, here's to hoping it starts tonight. Kyle, appreciate the time. Congratulations on another great trip to Haiti. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right. Thank you, sir.
That's the game plan with Kyle McClellan. We're back in a moment on the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network.
The next generation of power is at the Home Depot, and it's found in Ryobi One Plus tools. Right now during Ryobi Days, buy a Ryobi One Plus lithium-ion compact drill driver kit and get another select Ryobi One Plus tool free, a $79 value. The same battery runs both tools, plus over 70 other One Plus tools. So drill it, drive it, cut it, and save. During Ryobi Days, only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid 5/18 through 6/22.
Hey, Cardinal fans, now your lawn can look like a pro mowed it when you cut with the all-new Radius Zero Turn from Exmark. Right now, Radius E-Series mowers are priced as low as $49.99, and for a limited time, you can get a Cardinal Limited Edition full suspension seat upgrade, free with any Radius purchase. That's a home run value of $6.99. Exmark is available at Siebers locations in Hamel, Carlinville, Hillsboro, and Greenfield, Illinois, and the JCB of St. Louis location in St. Peters, Missouri. SiebersEquipment.com.
If you really want to enjoy life's celebrations, you need to call Rosati's Pizza for their comfortable catering package for 10 for just $92.35. Rosati's will serve you, along with your friends, families, and coworkers, a delicious lunch or dinner for under $100. Feed them all with Italian beef, pasta, salad, and garlic bread. It's all about good food at Rosati's. Having a party, picnic, hosting a celebration? Call Rosati's for their comfortable catering package for 10. Rosati's Pizza, 701 South Gregory in Urbana, or call 328-2334.
Vapors e-cigs thinks it's time for you to take a permanent vacation from smoking. Take a permanent vacation away from cigarettes today. You'll smell better, you'll breathe better, and you'll feel better. Plus, you'll have more money than ever when you choose Vapors e-cigs. Come in today and taste the difference with a premium electronic vape. You can get started for less than a carton of cigarettes. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Vapors e-cigs today. Find them at Champaign across the street from Marketplace Mall at 2 West Main Street in Danville. And follow them on Facebook for great deal offers and giveaways.
You can fly Champaign. You can fly Willard Airport. You can fly Champaign. You can fly. Our airport is your doorway to the sky. So pack your things, spread your wings. You got business to do. People who expect you. You can fly Champaign. You can fly Willard Airport.
Welcome back to How Well Do You Know Your Meat? Now back to the trivia. The freshest meat comes from your local grocery store. True or false?
True.
No. Contestant number 2.
It's false. The freshest meat in town comes from the U of I meat sales room off of Florida Avenue in Urbana.
Yes, that's correct. You're a winner.
For the freshest cuts of meat in town, visit the U of I Meat Sales Room. Open Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 5:30 and Friday from 8 until 1. Just off Florida on South Maryland in Urbana.
We'll hear from Adam Wainwright coming up as we get ready for first pitch in Cincinnati. But now more from Mike Claiborne with Cardinals hitting coach John Mabry.
Let's get to the 6th inning, and you know that you're going to pinch hit for somebody. At what point do you, and Mike, I'm sure, talk about, hey, I think I want to hit this guy here or there. Do you guys then go back and confab a little bit with regard to the approach because this is the guy we're going to probably see coming out of the bullpen? How does that work?
Oh, we know the way the game's shaping out, but you have your bench and you know who's there, so you know it's either right-left matchup or it's a player that we can't use because he's a backup middle infielder or a backup catcher. Typically not going to be used. It's going to be your 1 and 2 pinch hitters, and one guy might be your on-base guy, and the next guy might be your slug guy. But they start in the 5th inning. Well, hopefully they start in the 5th inning because they've been out here at the beginning. But if our starting pitcher's going well, they don't need to get shaken until the 5th. So they'll go down and they kind of see the way the game's being played out, and the score dictates a lot of what the other manager's going to use as far as his bullpen's concerned. And those guys, the matchup guys, and what that has. And Billy has all that information downstairs, and they're downstairs getting loose off the machine and tees and flips, and they have the information that they need of who's coming in, who they're going to face, and how he attacks hitters, and how they particularly attack him, and what that game plan looks like coming out.
I know if you probably had this question asked of you before, and if you had the answer, you'd probably be a quadrillionaire. How do you deal with slumps? And when it seems like good hitting is contagious as is bad hitting, but when a team goes through a slump, do you try and simplify it more with a couple of different players? Because you can't save everybody at the same time. Just like I said, it's contagious.
Yeah, usually you just wait. This is a deal. And if you watch a team every day and you're saying, oh, these guys are in a slump, well, you get to see what the course of the season looks like. There's going to be slumps. There's going to be hot streaks. There's going to be in-between streaks. And you just get to watch it. You know what I mean? And as a player, you know that things are going to change. What you do, and sometimes there's mechanical issues that sometimes need to be addressed. There's mental issues that need to be addressed. There's emotional issues that need to be addressed. There's pitch selection that needs to be addressed, and all those things come into play. You got to determine, kind of what the course of action is. But again, there's no magic pill that gets anybody out of it, and you just keep grinding, keep working, and it all evens out. And you look at the back of his baseball card, and you can tell he's going to be pretty much in that area every year. That's why they can predict games so well nowadays. Because that history tells you that if he's hitting 230 right now in April and May, well, guess what? In June, July, he's going to get hot, and so you just kind of wait it out, and he's going to get to that point where it evens out. It's course of a season. It's kind of like a novel, twists and turns at every time. And you're miserable in April, you're ecstatic in June, you're miserable in July. And you just wait to see what happens. But these guys work their tails off, man, and you don't get to see underneath. And sometimes it looks like they're not trying because they make the game look so easy. Yeah. But believe me, these guys are grinding their butts off, and this is a pretty tough game that they make look easy.
When we come back, a little bit from Adam Wainwright. We talked last week on Wayno's World, and some pretty poignant foreshadowing for the right-hander who continues to deliver. That's next before first pitch from Cincinnati on the Cardinals Radio Network.
We, the entertainment-loving people, demand the best unlimited wireless plan ever from AT&T.
I thought I raised you better than to make demands like that.
You know what? We want even more than that. We want AT&T to give us unlimited entertainment.
What else do you want, a flying car?
Well, maybe HBO included in our plan.
How about a unicorn?
And we want to watch all our favorite shows without paying overages.
Good luck with that.
And we want all of this, plus we want to save $25 on our monthly DirecTV bill.
But you can save me $25?
Well, yeah.
I'm proud of you, son.
Only AT&T offers you unlimited data with HBO included and never pay overages. Visit your local AT&T store and get AT&T Unlimited Plus, our best wireless deal on unlimited data. Plus, save $25 per month on DirecTV. It's entertainment your way.
After 22 gigabytes of data usage, AT&T may slow speeds. Plan includes stream saver and videos will stream in standard definition unless you turn it off. $25 DirecTV savings requires AT&T Unlimited Plus. Credits start within 3 bills. Service prices subject to change. Other usage, speed, fees, charges, and restrictions apply. See att.com/unlimited for details.
328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 24 hours every day. Tapman's Towing. 328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 328-2424. Tapman's Towing. 24 hours every day. Tapman's Towing. We have pull and we're hooked on you. Tapman's Towing.
Hello, this is Shane Colt from Country Arbors Nursery. Spring is finally here and Country Arbors is open and ready to supply you with all your home and garden needs. We grow hundreds of thousands of annuals and 600 varieties of perennials right here in Urbana. If you're looking for a large shade tree, then you'll want to come out and see our thousands of trees dug and ready to be planted. Country Arbors offers a planting service on all our trees. Buy 3 or more trees and we'll give you 20% discount on the tree and the planting. We guarantee all of our larger trees that we plant for 5 years. And don't forget, we deliver dozens of different mulches and stone. You can find out more information and directions at countryarbors.com.
Tuesdays can't get any respect. Every week it's like, I can't believe it's only Tuesday. No one ever asks, how was your Tuesday? But now there is something exciting about Tuesday. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Get an extra $10 off our lowest sale price on an AC Precision tune-up. That means you'll get a $120 tune-up for only $59 when you book online today at chiefbauer.com. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Take that Saturday.
You can fly Champagne. You can fly Willard Airport. You can fly Champagne. You can fly. Our airport is your doorway to the sky. So pack your things, spread your wings. You've got business to do. People who expect you. You can fly Champagne. You can fly Willard Airport.
Adam Wainwright is our UMB player to bank on, and as we get ready for first pitch from Cincinnati, and Wainwright tries to put together another fantastic start, thought these comments from our latest edition of Wayno's World, presented by Country Financial and Big League Impact, were especially appropriate.
Basically just keeping the faith, knowing that my stuff is good and I'm still quite capable of getting lots and lots of big league hitters out. So, I don't know, I feel good about it. I'm excited. I'm very confident going forward that things are just going to keep getting better.
You talked last year about the fact that even though you were back and even though you pitched at the end of 2015 out of the bullpen, some of your explosiveness, some of the drills and plyometric stuff that you did, you knew you weren't necessarily back. Is this as good as you felt stuff-wise, physically, since before you went down with the Achilles a couple years ago?
Yeah, no question about that. Now, I do still think I have another gear yet to get. But the great thing about it is I'm almost certain I'm going to be able to get it. You know, I really think that 2 years from now, people are going to completely forget about the last year. You know, I really just think that. I think they're just going to forget about it, you know, and so am I.
Are you pitching with a chip on your shoulder right now?
I always try to find some kind of chip to put on my shoulder, but I am pitching with a little bit of something right now. Just there's a certain part of any competitor that wants to prove somebody wrong who doesn't believe in them, and I had a lot of naysayers out there, and good. This fuels my fire.
Can they say anything about what Wainwright's done lately? He's won 6 straight decisions. The team has won 7 of his last 8, and in his last 4 starts, 26 and a third innings and 1 earned run. Wainwright on the mound for the Cardinals tonight against Tim Adelman as they try to snap their 4-game losing streak. We head to Great American Ballpark next. John Rooney and Rick Horton have the call. Chris Raby with you. This has been the Ameren Pregame Show on the Cardinals Radio Network.
Summer is here, and the car buying is easy, especially when you have the big 3 American automakers all in one place. Come to McFerrin Park in Hoopeston beginning on Monday, June 12th to see the entire inventory from Anthem, Chevrolet Buick, Ford of Hoopeston, and Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Hoopeston. Choose from hundreds of America's favorite cars in one easy-to-get-to location. Buick, Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, Jeep, and Ram, all in McFerrin Park on Route 1 in Hoopeston, June 12th through the 17th.
Hello, this is Shane Colt from Country Arbors Nursery. Spring is finally here, and Country Arbors is open and ready to supply you with all your home and garden needs. We grow hundreds of thousands of annuals and 600 varieties of perennials right here in Urbana. If you're looking for a large shade tree, then you want to come out and see our thousands of trees dug and ready to be planted. Country Arbors offers a planting service on all our trees. Buy 3 or more trees and we'll give you 20% discount on the tree and the planting. We guarantee all of our larger trees that we plant for 5 years. And don't forget, we deliver dozens of different mulches and stone. You can find out more information and directions at countryarbors.com.
Springtime is here, and that means it's time to hit the water, and there's no better way to do it than a Hobie kayak from Champagne Surplus. These revolutionary boats feature Mirage Drive technology that allows you to pedal the kayak with your feet for a seamless, hands-free experience. Perfect for kayak fishing or a leisurely ride on a local lake. Stop by Champagne Surplus, your exclusive Hobie dealer in East Central Illinois, to check out these top-of-the-line kayaks today. Champagne Surplus, 303 South Neal Street in downtown Champaign.
If you really want to enjoy life celebrations, you need to call Rosati's Pizza for their comfortable catering package for 10 for just $92.35. Rosati's will serve you, along with your friends, families, and coworkers, a delicious lunch or dinner for under $100. Feed them all with Italian beef, pasta salad, and garlic bread. It's all about good food at Rosati's. Having a party, picnic, hosting a celebration? Call Rosati's for their comfortable catering package for 10. Rosati's Pizza, 701 South Gregory in Urbana, or call 328-2334.
A swing, and there's a high